unless someone joins, which I'm not sure they will. I'm just going to be reading some papers and articles, listening to documentaries, trying to learn some things. We'll start off with, where was he? House Republicans set up Tuesday vote to avert government shutdown. Let's read what this says. The Republican-controlled U.S. House of Representatives set up a Tuesday vote on legislation that would keep the government funded and avert a potential or partial shutdown as Washington is rocked by President Trump's rapid move to slash federal agencies, which is stupid. The House committee advanced the bill on Monday evening to the full chamber, clearing the way for what likely to be a close vote on Tuesday to extend government funding past midnight Friday when it is due to expire. The package would also have to pass the Senate before Trump can sign into law. The House Democrat leadership was urging its ranks and file to oppose the measure. Meanwhile, Trump was contacting some fence-sitting Republican lawmakers to garner their support, Fox News reported, in a sign that House Speaker Mike Johnson may not have nailed down enough votes for passage as of Monday. Hardline members of the fractious 214 to 218 House Republican majority, who over the past year repeatedly bucked Mike Johnson's plans, has signaled support for the bill, which would keep the government funded as at current levels through September 30th, when the current fiscal year ends. Supporters argue that the House must advance it to move on to Trump's agenda of sweeping tax cuts and stepped up spending on immigration enforcement and the military. Trump has voiced support for the bill. Well, no shit. It's funny. These people want less money spent on military, but yet Trump and all these people always keep adding to it. Always, always. Never talk about cutting that. If all House Democrats oppose the bill, Johnson will have to make sure that all Republicans fall in line behind the legislation to ensure its passage. It is not something we could ever support, House Democrat leader Hakeem Jeffries told reporters, saying his party would not be complicit in what he said were cuts to social safety nets programs embedded in the 99-page bill. Huh. I keep hearing all these fucking Republican dummies saying, I just want one bill, one sentence, I just want to know what it is, nobody reads it. But yet, their people are trying to pass 100-page bills, and I don't hear no qualms about it. It's just, the hypocrisy is so funny to me. Multiple Senate Democrats who could block the bill thanks to the chamber's 60-vote filibuster rule, but have long bemoaned government shutdowns as needless chaos, have said that they would support it rather than further destabilize the government when Trump advisors Elon Musk had ousted more than 100,000 federal workers. The bill covers discretionary spending, functions like law enforcement, air traffic control, and represents about a quarter of the roughly $6.75 trillion budget. So like 1.8 trillion, maybe 1.7. That also includes spending for the Social Security retirement program and more than $1 trillion per year of interest payments on the government's growing $36 trillion debt. It would increase defense spending by about $6 billion while decreasing non-defense spending by about $13 billion, according to the House Republican leadership aides. It would also maintain a freeze on about $20 billion of the IRS included in a Democrat stopgap bill. The lawmakers will face a more serious deadline later this year when they must address their self-imposed debt ceiling or risk a disastrous default that would rock the... Well, if I know Trump, he's probably going to default then and let the fucking world economy go, because that's what he's doing now. He just wants everything to... He wants to tear everything down and remake it in his own image, of course. The last government shutdown stretched over 35 days in late 2018 and early 2019, during Trump's first term in office. Repeated brinksmanship by lawmakers over government shutdowns and the debt ceiling has already hurt U.S. credit worthiness. Two of the three major global credit ratings agencies have stripped the United States federal government of its once top-tier ranking. We're not even ranked top-tier anymore. Of course. Hardliners get in line. Last year, members of the hardline conservative House Freedom Caucus repeatedly refused to vote on the government funding bills. Trump support has tipped the balance, and several of their numbers emerged from the White House meeting last week saying that they were inclined to support the bill. I am firmly 100% in this corner, Representative Andy Harris of Maryland, the group leader, told reporters. Similarly, Representative Victoria Spartz, an Indiana conservative who nearly blocked the House last month from passing a budget blueprint for the Trump tax agenda, signaled her support. I don't think we have the time to do anything else. I'm being realistic, she told Reuters. Johnson will need his hardliner support, as Jeffries also has said the Republicans' funding bill would violate a bipartisan deal on spending enacted in 2023. Some leading Senate Democrats have argued its structure will give Trump added authorities to move funds around at will. Who would have thought? That's what he wants to do. If the bill clears the House, it will move to the Senate, where Republicans hold a 53 to 47 majority, and support of at least 7 Democrats will be needed to pass. A moderate Democrat United States Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania said he would not reject the measure, adding, "That's chaos. I'll never vote for chaos." Simply, liberal Democratic U.S. Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon signaled support, saying shutdowns are a bad idea. I'm not a shutdown kind of guy. Not all were supportive. Moderate United States Senator Elisa Stolkian, who delivered her party's rebuttal to Trump's speech in Congress last week, said Sunday she saw little reason to support the bill when the administration cost-cutting campaign is ignoring prior law passed by Congress. Of course, he's trying to supervent fucking other laws and other bills. That's what he's doing. Makes sense. Oh, you want to self-deport yourself? Get yourself out of here. Jeez, what are you doing here? Get the fuck out of here. Judge ordered release of certain owed foreign aid payment. The federal judge on Monday ordered the Trump administration to release foreign aid payments owed under certain existing contracts, but stopped short of staving off mass contract cancellation that resulted from a subsequent review. U.S. District Judge Amir Ali, appointed by former President Biden, ruled that administration must pay out U.S. agencies bill owed through February 13th under existing contracts and grants. He also blocked the government from unlawfully impounding congressional appropriated foreign aid. Well, of course, the president can't just stop foreign aid or stop what Congress has already passed. These dum-dums keep thinking they can. However, Ali declined to invalidate the case-by-case review that U.S. aid and the State Department said was completed by February 26, which resulted in the cancellation of nearly 5,800 U.S. aid awards and 4,100 awards by the State Department. The provision and administration of foreign aid has been joint enterprise between the two political branches. That partnership is not out of convenience, but a constitutional necessity. Today, the courts reaffirmed these firmly established principles of our Constitution, he said. At the same time, however, the court is mindful of the limitation of its own authorities. The Trump administration has made concerted efforts to dismantle U.S. aid, including by firing employees and freezing payments to contractors. The subsequent review left only some 500 awarded intact from U.S. aid. Wow. Yeah. Now Trump's trying to get rid of the First Amendment. You can't protest. I mean, yeah, if they're actually rioting and breaking things and doing and being violent, yeah, you should probably arrest them. But it's just, how are you gonna? It's literally your First Amendment. It's so funny. It's so sad, actually. Supreme Court takes up challenge of Colorado conversions therapy ban. Why are people still thinking that gay conversion therapy works? The Supreme Court agreed Monday to hear a challenge to a law in Colorado that bans conversion therapy aimed at young people questioning their sexual orientation or gender identity. With more than 20 states with similar bans, the court eventual ruling is likely to be a nationwide implications. The justices took up an appeal brought by Kaylee Chiles, a Christian therapist who argues that the restriction violates her freedom of speech right under the constitutional First Amendment. Favored by some religious conservatives, the practice is aimed at encouraging gay or lesbian minors to change their sexual orientation and transgender children to identify as a gender assigned at birth. Children often, or Chiles often has clients who are Christian, some of whom have questioned their sexual orientation or gender identities amid concerns that they are unable to live their lives in accordance with their faith, according to court papers. They seek counseling to suppress unwanted sexual attraction or to resolve conflicts about their gender identities. The government has no business censoring private conversation between clients and counselors, nor should a counselor be used as a tool to impose the government's bias views on their clients. Kristen Wegener, president of the Alliance of Defending Freedom, a conservative Christian advocacy group representing Chiles, said in a statement. Chile's lawyers cited in part that the Supreme Court's 2018 ruling that struck down on free speech grounds a California law that required anti-abortion pregnancy clinics to notify clients about abortion access. The lawyers argue that the ban have devastating real-world consequences, including a rare case of detransitioners, the small portion of transgender people who change course and wish to identify as a gender they were assigned at birth. Limiting counseling options communicates to countless minors that they have no choice but to medically transition, lawyers said. Colorado officials wrote in a brief that the state measure regulates conduct, not speech. States have long regulated medical practices to protect patients from harmful professional conduct. Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser, Democrat, said in a statement, Colorado's laws protecting young people from unscientific and cruel gay conversion therapy practices is humane, smart, and what? Colorado's law protecting young people from okay, yeah. Again, why don't we just let the counselors and the doctors and the people that deal with it for their whole fucking life? Why don't you let them decide? Why do we let Christian activist groups who are fucking retards try to fucking dictate what the world can do? People forget the last time that Christians ran the world, it was called the Dark Ages. For fucking God's sakes, fucking A. Dark Ages. Let's kill everybody. All the science people and people that don't agree with us. Hold on, I'll be right back. Found it. I can't stream without my beer. Seize gun after online threats shoot up school. Jesus Christ. Florida kid. Jesus, that's how many guns he had? Oh, these are airsofts. Yeah, dude, fucking airsoft. So stupid, too. I mean, I don't want to be ever one of those people. Like, we need to make them illegal because they're not, but stupid. They should make them fucking not look like this. I mean, realistically, these ones don't even have the. It's supposed to have. This one does. This one has the orange tip. It's supposed to have orange tips, so you know they're fucking fake. Oh my god! Was arrested less than an hour north of where he was lured. Video allegedly featuring him threatening to launch an attack on nearby Seminole High School. Anonymous tip. He claimed he had AKs, all these fucking dumbass guns, and then, oh, there it is, all airsofts. The person of the show, thanks to collaboration. Fucking silly. Oh, the NIH dominates the world's health research in charts. Brooke cuts to Trump's start progress of medical research globally. No shit. Bruising cuts to the administration by the United States President Donald Trump to the United States National Institute of Health has sparked fears that the future of the agency, by far the world's biggest funder of biomedical research and widely considered the gold standard for research funding agency. To understand the probable impact of these actions on the progress of science and medical research, Nature examines the agency's dominance globally in terms of its funding, publication, and impact on disease. This is a severe blow to science and the training of the next generation of scientists, says So-Wen Wong, a geneticist and cell biologist at the Yale School of Medicine in New Haven, Connecticut. Fewer scientists, there will be less science and innovation that drives societal progress and the improvement of public health. Disruption to the agency prompted by the Trump administration, including the terminating of grants, thousands of staff layoff, and the pausing of day-to-day operations such as panels that evaluate grant applications. Fucking so stupid. Why are we so anti-science? Just because you dummies can't understand it doesn't mean it's fucking like conspiracies or fucking they're wrong or they're being nefarious or whatever the fuck you think. Like, just because someone's smart in something you're not doesn't mean that they're fucking trying to hurt you, people. Like, I don't get people. Oh my God. Biomedical funding and behemoth. With an annual budget of roughly $47 billion, the NIH dwarfs the rest of the world's funders in biomedical research. The World Report Project, which tracks global health research spending, shows that in 2022, the NIH spent 25 times more on grants than the next biggest founder, the London-based charity Wellcome, that reported data to the initiative. So let's see here, 32 million. Almost more than that. 3.2 billion probably. And people see this go, oh, why are we spending so much more than anyone else? That's also why we probably are more healthier, like when it comes to like medicine, than everyone else. We get it first. We make it first, and then we sell it to the world. And you make money on it long term. So like, I don't get the problem with it. I don't get why people are so fucking scared. It just makes no sense. Makes no sense. U.S. biomedical science dominates the world in terms of papers, discovery, and drugs, says Miriam Murad, a cancer immunologist at the Icahn School of Medicine at Mount Sinai in New York City, who receives funding from the NIH and other sources. See publication prowess. Murad points to a study that shows that NIH-funded research contributed to 354 of the 356 drugs approved by the FDA. Yep. Without NIH, there will be no cancer immunotherapy, no anti-overdose medication, no anti-heart attack, no stroke medication, no cutting-edge treatment, addiction research. Oliver George of the United States or University of California, San Diego tweeted on February. The United States institution NIH has been acknowledged as a founder or funder of more than 1.3 million biomedical research papers indexed by the PubMed database over the past decade. The world's other major biomedical research agencies are listed on just a fraction of the publications in comparison. So yeah, is this China blue right here? So China has done about 60 million or what, 600,000 maybe? Yeah, 600,000. The cuts mean drug discovery is going slow down for sure, said Murad. She is working with colleagues on new drugs development on which they will have to pause if they don't have certainty on funding soon. This is the type of thing that happens across the country. Oh, I can't read anymore. Stupid. But, yeah, we're cutting an eye and we're being stupid about it. Cousin criticizing for oh man, even JD's cousin. JD Vance's cousin has criticized him and President Trump for belittling Zelensky during the three-man Oval Office showdown. There's a certain level of decorum that I expect from political leaders, especially in front of cameras. Nate Vance, who spent 3 years volunteering with the Ukrainian military after Russian. Oh wow, who would have thought? That's fucking crazy. It follows his earlier comment that Trump and Vance were acting like useful idiots for President Putin in their handling of the conflict. Last month, U.S. and Russian officials had a directed conference in Saudi Arabia. Nate Vance told the BBC PM program on Monday that he was not happy with the way in which the White House meeting had been handled by his cousin and Trump. I'm kind of attracted to the Ukrainian issue, but looking at it, if it were some other completely neutral issue and I saw the White House officials and hack journalists that are political belittling a foreign leader, I'd be like, what the hell is going on? He said to the BBC. This is so funny. That's so funny. Damn, I got more respect for JD Vance's cousin. Jeez, why can't I spell ridiculous for some reason? Let's see what dude said finally. Oh, you're just a libtard, I bet. Blah, blah, blah. Can we guess? His non-points.
What you streaming?
Oh, I mean, I've just been reading news. I just found, so you want to hear something cool? I just found out J.D. Vance's cousin, okay?
Mm-hmm.
He fucking called out J.D. Vance and Trump for treating Zelensky like shit. And I just found out he went to Ukraine to actually help fight.
Really?
Yeah, he said Trump and his cousin were useful idiots in the fucking useful idiots for President Putin in handling the conflict, and he's just talking shit about his cousin, JD, for the whole big old fight thing.
Yeah, go figure.
I'm just like, oh man, maybe we should have picked JD as a fucking guy, not whoever, his cousin. I'm saying
Exactly. He's a fucking idiot.
And then I have this one dude this dude on Facebook's just an idiot. I'm trying to read his answers back because I post like the stock market's down 6% in 3 weeks. I thought Daddy Trump was supposed to save us. High inflation rate, 401ks going away, siding with dictators, fighting with their allies. Yep, sounds like America's back, just back to the 1920s.
Very fucking. People are fucking stupid.
all those words. It's funny. This guy goes, you play to this proper educated fact dumpster. It's like, but you don't, like, oh, so I know facts. Yeah, of course. Like, who would have thought? Yeah, I come up with actual facts. I don't just fucking blah, blah, blah. Just funny. He just keeps saying you're a pathetic lefty, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, those are a lot of words to admit that you're stupid and can't debate. Nice. like, you had to fucking say all these, you had to make 2 long paragraphs of shit just to say I'm stupid.
People are just completely fucking retarded. Dreadnought.
Huh?
Fucking anonymous today shut down Twitter globally.
Yeah, I heard that. I heard that.
Yeah. And they're trying to say, oh yeah, it's Ukraine. It's like, no, not really.
This guy's like, is that you still own that shitty bar? I'm like, well, you used to go to that bar, so if that bar's shitty, that says a lot about you, right, bro?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, what the fuck do you mean? Like, you're gonna say something like, oh, okay. Like, you're the one going there. Okay.
Why do some people have no brain cells at all?
Why? Because people fucking are stupid. Honestly, I couldn't tell you. Like, in general, people, like I said, people do the whole, oh, you read? Like, oh, yeah, I do this one weird thing called reading. I know. Who would have thought?
I don't know. Reading's good for you.
Yeah, he's gonna talk shit about me. He lives in a city with 300 people and act like, dude, your whole city is ran because of me, of fucking left wing people. Your city wouldn't exist
Mm-hmm.
without us. It's
Exactly.
so
They're
funny.
fucking stupid.
They are stupid.
It's
Like,
like
these people don't realize. Like I
it's
said,
like the Democrats give all the fucking
well, again, it's the
like
big
all the
cities.
programs and assistance and shit.
Yeah, it's the big
You
cities.
know?
Like I said, Minneapolis pays for all these 100 population people to have fucking cops and fucking hospitals and schools and all this shit. Like, I don't get it.
The hell?
I just told him you're welcome, bitch, for all the fucking like if it wasn't for Democrats, you had no schools, cops, or hospitals. So without us, you wouldn't have anything. You're welcome, bitch. Like what a fucking dummy. The thing is, because always like I always tell these people, like, you know what? You guys bitching me all day here. Why don't you fucking why don't you ever jump on stream and argue? I wouldn't argue. It's because you're a retard, exactly. And now he's talking shit to my Canadian friend. You don't know shit either. Your pathetic wieners are all the same. Like, dude, you don't even know that this guy's not even American. And yeah, this guy hates us. I wonder why. Because we're putting tariffs and doing dumb shit with them.
Yeah, no shit. Fuck. Yeah, apparently a lot of people's energy bill jumped by like 25%.
Hey man, thank
So
God I got motherfucking solar panels. My shit ain't going up.
yeah.
So you know what? People could talk shit. I mean, it sucks for everybody else, but for me, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, we live in wooded areas, so that doesn't really work out too well. Oh. Yeah, no thanks. I don't feel like doing that.
Oh man, I just think it's funny people talk shit and then you wanna show me that you're right? No, I can't argue. I'm like, oh okay, then just admit you're a retard next time. I just think it's always
Just,
funny
it
when
would be
people do that.
easier.
Well, yeah, it's like just shut the
just
fuck up,
easier.
dude. Like you're gonna say all this dumb shit, but like, okay, show me. Oh, I wouldn't waste my time. Well, you wasted your time fucking typing out some dumb shit earlier, so obviously you have the time.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He said something about like the Democrats are cursing out the president on national TV. Despicable. I'm like, yeah, as they should.
Yeah,
Like,
he's a dictator.
not even that. Like my whole point is, dude. Like, we're watching the stock market. We're watching the recession happen right in front of us, and you guys keep telling me the recessions isn't coming. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, it's already hitting.
Like, dude, you know that? Like I said, I showed this one chick.
Hold on.
All right. That's so funny. I'm a dum dum. I don't know how to speak.
All right, I'm back. I had to take a piss and get some water.
I told the dude, I was like, because the guy's like, you guys are all like, what? I'm like, yeah, you can't articulate any of your thoughts. Makes sense why you moved to cow fucking land. Sadly, they're probably smarter than you too. Like the conversations you have with the cows are probably getting dumber listening to you. Honestly.
Yeah, that should be just animal abuse, felony.
It should be, man. Fuck, man. I did recently. So somebody asked me a good question the other day. Like, let's see if you knew this before. Why is it that egg prices are going up but chicken prices aren't going up? Do you know why?
Yeah, I have no idea. I've never actually thought about that.
He made me look. So when we mass produce chickens, we have two different sets. One's for meat called broilers.
Antibiotic.
Yeah, and then one's for fucking eggs, and the egg one got
Yeah.
like bird flu. But I didn't know we separated them like that.
Yeah, that would make sense why the ones that are used for meat are separate because they're so chock full of antibiotics.
Oh yeah, like I said, it all made perfect sense. It just I never thought about it till someone
Yeah.
asked me the question. I was like, you know what? That is a good question. I read about it yesterday. I'm like, oh, this is why.
Yeah. Yeah, it all makes sense.
I like when people ask me actual smart questions instead of fucking stupid questions, like whatever. It's like, oh my
Yeah.
god, man, can you give me something that I can actually read about instead of just fucking? Oh, do you know that Putin's not that bad? Like what? What? Or whatever these stupid claims are all the day, every day. These people keep claiming.
Yeah, it's like Putin's not that bad. Right.
Right.
And neither was Stalin.
He's like, no, we're done with the soft coddling bullshit. There are a few of us. I'm sorry, 70 million plus Americans voted. Would you agree with me? Yeah, we had 71. It was 75 to 77, or what the fuck it was. It wasn't like. Oh yeah, at one point he's like, we practically had like everybody vote for Trump, like 77 million out of 155. That's practically everyone, right? Now, this is why you're a retard, because you think that less than 50% is practically everybody. Like, that's the point.
Yeah, and the only reason why is because of how the maps are with the gerrymandering and all that shit.
Oh yeah, for the electoral college. But I'm saying, let's look at it. Hold on, 2024.
Yeah, Wisconsin's horrible for that.
Most places are. I can't. I'll just tell you that because Trump got, I think it was 49.8%. Yeah, 49.8. So you get less than half the votes. But he's like, the whole point is like, so a guy that got less than half the votes, you're saying practically got them all. Like, okay, yeah, it was 77.3 to 75. So he won by 2.3 million total. And then if you want to break it down to like the swing states, he won, like I said, by like maybe a million.
Yeah, I was hoping some of those swing states would have went to Camille.
I know.
Nope. I still have a feeling though it's rigged.
I mean, like I said, I can't say it is, but I mean,
that's why I just say that I have a feeling because a lot of the voting booths and shit were actually connected to Starlink.
I know.
That's like, yeah, a lot of it was Elon Musk because of all that bullshit.
Oh, I know.
He is picking a fight with the wrong people. A lot of foreign leaders are getting fed up with this bullshit, and so are a lot of the Democrats are getting fed up. And a lot of like his former employees and shit.
Mm. Yeah, like I said, 75 to 77. It's so much different. So much. Like, okay, buddy.
Yeah, did you see how bad fucking Tesla dropped?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I was like, yes. That company will cease to be here.
Yeah. The thing is also worldwide, dude, they're gonna plummet because the whole world's gonna fucking be anti-Tesla in general. But yeah, let's see here.
Everybody is pretty much already anti-Tesla, especially the EU. They're like, nope.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The whole world, and honestly, like you know, like Africa's not buying it. Tesla, they're not buying EVs.
No,
Neither is fucking like South America, but like
no.
Australia is. China, like the major people.
Yeah, China just makes their own.
Now they do, yeah.
So they don't need to import those piece of shit.
In the last month, Tesla's down 32.3%.
No, it's so fucking funny.
Think about
It's
this.
like that's
Where's the election
karma.
right here? So he went from, where's the election night? Right here. So it's actually lower than pre-election day. That's fucking
Yep.
crazy. Yeah, pre-election day was 251, and now it's 222. I know, it's so fucking crazy. And then these dummy. Do you know that the economy does better under Democratic leaders every time?
Yep.
Yeah.
It's proven.
I know. I tried to tell you, like, no, it's not true. I'm like, dude, yes, it is. Like, it's just facts. Just because you don't
Yeah,
understand facts doesn't mean that's not fucking true.
and they just inherited the economy, and look at what he's doing now. Oh, it's gonna be good for the economy. It's like the economy was really good until he took over.
Yeah, I mean, even the last time he was around, everyone's like, he had such a good economy. I'm like, oh, the one that he inherited from Obama, that he just did the same
Yeah.
thing over and over. He literally did one thing: the tax cuts for the rich. That's the only thing he did. So, what else did he do that helped the economy? Nothing. So again, he just rode the wave of, oh, Obama had a good economy going. Yeah,
I hate them so much. They're so goddamn stupid.
they are stupid.
It's like, why are people that stupid allowed to live?
I don't know. Oh, whatever. Living's one thing, but like again, the thing with social media, like these retards should fucking not have a voice to fucking try to sway anybody or anything. You should just sit in the corner, shut the fuck up, and let the adults talk.
Yeah, exactly. The people actually know a thing or two.
Well, again, I was reading like this article by the NIH. NIH, funding's really down, obviously, and they're going over like the whole like what they actually do. Fucking like we spend so like what was it? We spend about $328 billion on developing drugs and biomedical shit, right? And then the next country is like $12,000. We spend so much more, but again, we always have the best. And my thinking is always that we innovate the drugs and we sell them to the world. So by making it first, we actually make the money. Like it costs a lot of money up front, but you're the one making money forever because you get to sell the drug. Like
Yeah, exactly. It's just like anything that you make. It's like the upfront cost is going to cost a shit ton, but after that, when you start to sell it, yeah, you can make it back.
for sure. Oh, I know. That's what these dummies don't understand. Like, oh, we're spending so much on this. Like, yeah. Now, can you look at the next like 10 years, how much you made off that thing that
Yeah,
you're bitching about,
they don't understand how investments work.
Not at all. It's same as debt. Like I was trying to explain to somebody earlier because they're like, well, I'm like, okay, let's say America is $200 billion in debt to debt to Canada for trade debt, right? But that $200 billion trade debt raises our GDP by $1 trillion. Is that still bad? No, it's not.
No,
Like it's not. That's not how it works. Like,
as long as we pay back the debt,
and then I try to use the analogy of like, okay, let's say you take out a $200,000 loan and you start a company or you start a business or you buy a house, whatever, right? That's not the same amount of debt. That debt is not the same debt versus taking $100,000 out to go to the strip club, or
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there is things that are bad debt if you're just blowing the money, but if you're taking the money you're using and actually expanding it and making money off it, it's not bad. Debt, not all debt's the same.
Yeah, exactly. As long as you manage it well and it's well invested, But people really just don't understand how that shit works. It's like economics must be taught to everybody. Oh shit.
always forget how to spell. How do you spell Seroquel? I always forget.
I haven't seen enough to know
Oh,
how.
it's S-E. I always think there's a Y. It's like S-E-R-O. Okay. Seroquel. I just had to ask the dude. I'm like, did you forget to take your daily dosage of Seroquel today? Your daily dosage of Seroquel.
Trump and Elon do their best fucking work on the weekends. The firings of the remote workers who refuse to go back to the office, that started last night. 27,000 of them. I just got off the phone with my buddy who works for the government. He confirms it. He says, yep, they just locked them out of their computers and sent them an email. Bye-bye, motherfuckers. Cutting the dead weight. I fucking love it. My buddy says they started with the low-hanging fruit. It was all people who had worked for the government for a year or less. So they must just gonna be Trump.
It's funny. The guy says me the whole thing. This whole stupid video. The guy is praising like, "Oh, we just cut 27,000 federal workers. They cut all the first year guys. Like, oh, so you cut people just because they were new? You didn't even know if they're bad or good. You just willy nilly, right? Like, you think this is I'm like, yeah, this is so stupid.
Working their way up the fucking food chain here. This is Trump.
That's
This fucking
so silly.
Depressing.
It is depressing. It's just funny. This is one of my favorite memes. It says Seroquel XR. You can't have delusions if you're unconscious.
That is pretty fucking good.
I know, it's so fucking funny.
Can't have delusions if you're unconscious. That should be their slogan.
I do. That's my meme. Because like usually when I'm talking to shit on Facebook, I have it saved on my phone. I don't know, fucking thing. So that's what I just text people like this guy when he's like, "Oh, you keep talking dumb shit." Like, dude, that's why I would say like, did you forget to take your daily doses of Seroquel? You must be drunk. Like, okay, don't drink, retard. Oh man, so funny. What was I gonna watch? I was gonna watch a Hitler video. I'm trying to watch the one that like with mostly more about his rise to power than the just like
Yeah, than him just reigning.
yeah. Because
Yeah,
like I
it's
know
really
like because
interesting.
like I want to get like all the stupid details like and try to compare him to what's happening now like legitly like this one act that he passed is exactly like this that he's doing and shit, you know, like and actually like break it
Yeah.
down. 'Cause, yeah, dude, all these things are so because you always see the memes where it's like these 10 things are similar and it's probably true, but it's like I actually just want to know. Indirect, blah, blah, blah. And then Weimar Republic faced political. Government using violence. I know it's so funny that literally that month the Nazis led by Adolf Hitler attempted to overthrow the government by using violence. The failed coup is known as the Beer Hall Push, but it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that's not like January 6th where you literally had a fucking violent
Not at all.
uprising and Like, like I'm saying, there's so many little things like this, and people just don't like. Oh no, the January 6th was a day of love. It was a day of peace.
No, it wasn't.
I already know. Well, that's what Trump called it, so
Yeah.
that's what they call it.
Nope.
And again, this is just like Trump, and this is Hitler and the Nazis changed their tactics after the failed coup from violently seizing power to violently seizing power. Beginning in the mid-20s, they focused their efforts on winning elections, but the Nazi Party did not immediately succeed on attracting voters. In 1928, the Nazi Party won less than 3% of the national vote in elections in the German parliament. In the beginning of the 1930s, however, the Nazi Party started to win more votes. Their success was largely the result of the economic and political crisis in Germany. So again,
That was the big thing. But he's going to cause it now, and people are going to see and going to try their hardest, hopefully, to get him the fuck out.
No, but I mean, I think like half of us will, but the other half, like I said, they think this is good. They think like I always tell people, like, wasn't it like the money and the inflation, all this shit, like a big deal? Why you said you didn't want Biden there, but now that when he does it, it's all good because it's gonna help us long term. Like how? How can you switch your views so fucking fast?
It must be Italian.
All right.
To alleviate your suffering.
I know, right? It says after the Great Depression led Germans to fucking suck, basically. Radical anti-democratic political groups like the Nazis and the Communist Party grew in popularity. They became more and more visible in the press and on the streets. These groups took advantage of the economic and political chaos and used propaganda to attract Germans who were fed up with the political stalemate. So again,
Yep.
that's pretty much like now, like all these things are fucking. Like I said, I've never heard nobody in my life say they wanted kings and dictators until this last year.
Yeah.
Never
Which
once.
makes not a lick of sense.
I mean,
They're
even,
the fucking traitors.
I'm just saying, yeah, of course. I'm saying, like, even like the most pro fucking Bush, the most pro whatever.
Yeah.
Even Trump, his first time around, nobody was asking him for to be a dictator or whatever. Now they are. What happened in the last 8 years where people go, yeah, I want this guy to be the only guy, and like it's baffling to me how that
Stupid people get
much that changed.
propagandized.
It is, but it's just crazy because, like I said, it was just 8 years ago. Nobody was saying that. Now I've had two different people argue me about goddamn dictatorship being good. Like,
It has never been good.
of course not. Like I said, it blew my mind. I could not believe that those people admitted and / were arguing for it that one day. I'm like, how are we arguing about Mussolini being a good guy? Like, what
Yeah.
world do we argue that? Oh, I know he killed 40,000 plus people, but he built good roads and he built good schools. Like, oh, okay. Like,
So that justifies.
yeah, of course, that's what the guy tried to do. He tried to say he built this. Is like, oh, so he built cool buildings and good things, but he killed 100,000 plus people. I'm gonna take shitty roads and 100,000 people being alive. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, neither do I.
right.
They're just kind of fucked in the head.
During the election campaign, Hitler and the Nazis won followers by playing on people's hopes. The Nazis promised fix the economy and put people back to work. Who would have thought? Return Germany to the statue of the great Europeans or even world powers. Huh, sounds like Trump again. Regain territory Germany had lost during World War I. I guess we're trying to gain more territory, not that we lost. And create a strong authoritarian government, which, again, Trump's. These are all the same shit. Like I said, it's so crazy that it's almost one for one the same playbook, and nobody fucking cares. Nobody fucking cares. Fears and prejudice, yeah. This retard say something back finally. Oh. This guy's trying to flex that he doesn't have a family, so he doesn't have to spend money on other people. I'm like, cool.
Wow,
So
what a dick.
Yeah,
So you don't donate at all and don't give a fuck about anybody but yourself. Cool, you're a
he's
shitty
like,
person.
because he's like, you don't know about my bank account. I can assure you, it's more than you. I don't have to spend my money on other people. It's great. Like, okay, so you're a lonely loser. I get it.
Yeah. At least I donate and shit and help people out.
Yeah.
It's called being a good person.
That's like this chick. She's like, why don't you go fight in Ukraine? I'm like, A, they're not even asking for people. A, and B, I have given her
Yeah.
money, and my money went to the fucking, what do they call the little baby, whatever they're called. Fucking, what are they called? Sea babies. The sea babies, the drones that they're making.
Yeah. And I went to humanitarian aid, I think.
I just said, like, that's a weird flex to say that I'm alone and don't spend money on others. That is better than a man raising a family. But okay, go you, bro. Like, that is such a weird flex. I never heard somebody say such ridiculous
Yeah.
things. Like, do you hear yourself talk?
Yeah, he's a piece of shit. I've heard that before. And it's always like the biggest piles of shit.
It's funny because this guy goes like, "Oh, you drank away all your brain cells." I'm like, dude, I don't even drink. I haven't drank since I was like 21. Ugh, it's funny. You must have. It's funny because like I don't even drink at work. So like even if you saw me at work, how would you see that I don't drink? So what the fuck are you talking about, dum dum? He tried to make a joke about because I asked him about the so I always go to is did I ever tell you about when I ask people about Tide Pods?
No.
So when people act stupid, say it goes with my circle thing. I'm like, I just got to know something quick. When you eat your Tide Pods, do you break them open in half and do you like double stuff them like Oreos, or do you like stack them together and eat them with your whole mouth open? Like, I just got to know how you eat your Tide Pods because I know you're retarded. You know, this guy's like, oh, I opened the Tide Pods and put it on your lady snatch. I'm like, well, at least she's got a clean pussy. Your balls could be smelled from Ukraine, bro. Wash your balls, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Like, cool, you're saying she's got a clean pussy. What? Again, you're a retard. You can't even your fucking disses are like the weakest, dumbest disses. It's just funny.
Yeah. It's like weird flex, but okay.
Oh, I know. Like I said, he's trying to do all these trying to talk shit. I'm like, dude, I can turn everything right around you, bro.
Motherfucker.
And he's always, he's like, oh, you always say I don't debate. I'm like, dude, you can call in anytime. I've given you the option. It's like, you call right now and yell at me all you want. I'll just call you out just as much the same. So what are you going to do?
Where the hell did my...
Oh, this is so funny.
Eggs
JD
when
Vance.
Kamala Harris took office were short of $1.50
JD Vance. Eggs were $1.50 when Kamala and Biden took over.
a dozen. Now a dozen eggs will cost you around.
Now they're $4.
Several months later.
Several months later, now they are $14 an egg. It's like, oh, remember how you did that? Oh man, it's so funny. Like I said, all these things that were issues like 2 months ago are not issues no more.
Yeah, there will always be issues because they're stupid.
No, I know, but I'm talking about like I guess my whole point is like the inflation. All these things were like the biggest issues. Like we can't let Biden Harris get in because inflation is this and this and this and this. But like I said, now that he's doing it,
Oh, it's good.
It's good. It's just okay. Like people get mad and be like, "Oh, it's only been 50 days. How is he supposed to change anything?" Well, you know, you're normally right, but you know what he said? He said on day one. That's the point. He lied to you about it, and you guys all gobbled it up. Now, if he'd have been honest and be like, "Hey, maybe it'll take me a year to do something," maybe, but he didn't say that, did he?
Yeah.
You know, not at all.
You just can't change a lot of shit day one.
Oh, I understand. Like I said, if we're gonna have like a real nuanced conversation, I do understand that. But these dummies don't understand. Like I said, they were telling us all for 6 months. Day one, we're gonna have. That's what I try to explain to you. Like I'm like, not only did Trump say he's gonna cut inflation, he said he's gonna have negative inflation because he said he's gonna lower prices, not just keep them the same. He's gonna lower the prices. That means that's a negative inflation. So not only has he not done that, inflation's going higher than it was before. So what the fuck you mean? That's the shit I just don't understand.
Yeah.
Like I said, when people don't understand what he said, like when you say that you're going to lower prices, that's literally what you mean. You say you're going to have negative inflation. So when we had inflation at 3.5% last month, that is far from negative.
Yeah, very far. That's the exact opposite.
Well, yeah. Inflation was supposed to be at like 3%. It was like 3.5, 3.7%. Or I guess I could look it up, actually. It went up more than it was supposed to. I know that. Let's see here. The U.S. There we go. Inflation for January was 3%, but Biden had it down to, in August of last year, Biden had it down to 2.5% inflation.
Wow.
Actually, and he had a 2.4 in September. It was 2s all the way up to the election.
Go figure.
How about this? 2024, right? This is what I always tell retards. They don't understand. Inflation Reduction Act didn't work. Inflation Reduction Act was signed in August of 22. Inflation was at 8.3%. He got it down to 2.4. It literally reduced the inflation. Like, what the fuck do people? Like, it did exactly what it said it was gonna do. Like, it didn't do that. Like, yes, if you know how to read, it does tell you that inflation in 22 for the whole year was 8%. Then 23 was 4.1%, and then 24 was 2.9%. Look at this. Trump came in office, so Obama's last 2 years was 1.3 and 0.1% inflation.
Yeah.
And again,
Yeah, I've noticed that too. And inflation is lower too.
Well, I mean, Trump didn't have the worst. Again, he just wrote. So, like I said, Obama had 1.3 was his last. Trump had 2.1, 2.4, 1.8, 1.2. So, I mean, like his wasn't horrible. But again, it was just is writing off Obama. Obama's was 0.04, 16, 3.2 was Obama's worst year, and the rest were ones. 1.6, 1.5, 1.3. So, I mean. Then again, if you look at Bush's years is 3.8, 3, 3.2, 3.4, 2.7, 2.3, 2.8, 3, 4. So, I mean, And again, the inflation's only because of COVID. And like, if people are honest, they can say that, but they won't. They got to blame Biden.
Yeah.
Biden's the cause. Really? Yeah, because there wasn't
No,
that big thing. That,
COVID.
there wasn't that big thing that happened in 2021. No, not at all. 21, 22. No, nothing happened. I forgot.
No.
Ugh. Let's see here. Oh, not at all. 21. What, baby? I know you won't come up here, though. Ugh. You know that Trump's suing the fucking pollster, right? From Iowa.
Really? Oh yeah, I think I heard of something like that.
So like when people talk to me about First Amendment rights, I'm always like, what's worse on the First Amendment than a guy suing for somebody because he doesn't like what they wrote?
Mm-hmm. That is not freedom of speech, so go fuck yourself.
This guy thinks I knocked up a chick like early. I'm like, dude, I was 27 when I had my first kid, you fucking retard. He's like, sorry, I didn't knock up a chick when I was 16. I'm like, oh, okay.
Lord, why are they allowed to live? That's my question.
He's like, have fun with all the druggies at your bar. I'm like, bro, it takes one to know one because I know you're a fucking piece of shit. Like, oh. I'm pretty sure that's why he had to move away because he had to get away. I get the idea of it because, like, my brother, there's people that do it and it's fine. But it's like, you're going to talk shit. But, like, the reason why you moved is because you were on drugs. You're going to try to throw drugs in my face. Like, okay, buddy. I always keep saying, like, dude, you're giving me the weirdest flexes ever. You're flexing that you didn't have kids at 16. Like, cool. That's a really weird flex. I didn't have them either, but you know, whatever.
Yeah, neither did I.
But you know, but okay.
Fucking weird as ass.
I know he's like all those low lives in Anoka and shit. I'm like, it's because you know all the low lives, bro. That's why you moved. Okay, bro. Like that's my point. Like, oh, it sounds like you know from personal experience, bro. I don't hang out with any heroin addicts or meth addicts, so I mean, if you do, that's on you, bro. That's not on me.
Yeah, exactly. I don't associate with those kind of people.
Right? Yeah, it's so funny. And again, this is pretty much your average Trump voter. That's the sad part. There's other chick that I know. She gets so mad. She's like, I'm sick of being a cultist. I'm like, well, stop being in one. That's why. Like,
Yeah.
Like it's not that hard, lady. Just stop believing everything he says. Not that hard.
Yep, just shut the TV off. Stop listening to the news. Bing, bada, boom. You're cured.
Honestly, that is a big part of it. Like I said, just read. Like if you have a question, just type it into the phone, and you can find out. It's so much easier learning that way than having Fox or even seeing whoever fucking just spoon feeding you fucking.
Oh yeah, gross. Who'd want to have it fucking spoon fed?
A lot of people actually.
Yeah,
A lot of people always go, well, I'm just so tired when I get home and blah, blah, blah. Like, I mean, I get that to an extent, but like, it's not hard to read for 15, 20 minutes a day and just learn something, you know, like anything could be fucking anything.
Yeah.
Bludge temporarily blocks efforts to deport Palestinian activists. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Again, I suppose it's like anything. If you're rioting, I suppose you'd probably go to jail. Like actual rioting.
Yeah.
Like if you're just protesting and on the whatever. No, that's
Yeah, peaceful protesting.
Yeah, I was saying like that's the thing. Like, how are you gonna know exactly unless you have like videos of like I saw you burn down this or whatever the fuck. Like, how can you actually get anybody specifically?
Exactly. I will never understand. It's like, dude, we have these rights for a reason, and you're just totally violating them.
Uh-huh. Totally. Well, that's why people love rights only when it's their time to use them. I feel like a lot of times.
Yeah. Only when it applies to them.
It's good for me and not for we. Wish tree, I don't know what that is. Ooh, Trump wants more than just minerals deal to restart aid and intel to Ukraine. So now he wants more. Oh, who
Oh,
would've
you
thought?
don't say.
All right. Like, yeah. He says, the attitude towards peace talks, official says, including a willingness to make concessions, giving up territory to Russia. Who would have thought? Yeah. If I was Zelensky, I would never fucking give up my land for fucking non-security. What a fucking stupid thing to ask someone to do.
No, especially when they're not even part of it.
That, and it's like, again, who's going to stop Russia from coming again in 5 years or whatever the fuck, God damn, people are so stupid. Like, you're not giving them safety security, so why the fuck would I agree to it? Like, that'd be like me fighting a dude. A guy comes in and goes, hey, man, I'll stop you fighting, but I'm not going to stop him from fighting. Like, well, why are you going to stop me from fighting? He's not going to stop fighting. Like, oh, he's going to come back and, like, tomorrow and kick my ass. So why the fuck would I give him my lunch money today? Like...
Yeah, it makes sense, but people don't see it like that. They think it's like mobster protection.
Yeah.
It's like as soon as you agree to it, we're just gonna say fuck all in a few years. We're gonna protect you in the immediate time, and then we're just gonna say fuck you once we got everything that we wanted from you. People don't realize that bullshit.
Not at all. Yeah, who would have thought Russia has stepped up attacks on Ukraine in the aftermath of the United States pausing equipment and intelligence sharing this week? I mean, who would have thought?
Yeah.
Friday was one of the deadliest days for civilians in years, according to the United Nations Human Rights Monitoring Mission in Ukraine.
And did you hear that we're on the global rights watch list now?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, that is fucking depressing.
There's something else. It's, the NIH, right? Now that we're being funding and shit, it went down from being like the top medical place in the world to like, I don't know, not probably like fourth, fifth or something. Like something that we used to be the top dogs in the world, we're not no more.
Yeah.
It's funny. The United States does not have any indication that the pause of an intelligence sharing had any direct impact on Russia's attacks. Well, I mean, what else do you think it would have been, sir? Like, Jesus Christ. Like,
Yeah.
oh, we stopped helping them. Oh, and then the enemy attacked more. Oh, nope. I can't believe.
Are you really fucking...
I know.
People have absolutely no fucking sense.
This guy's like, I know what transgenic is. Like, okay, what is this?
Transgenic. Yeah. Oh wait, you don't? Oh my god, that is so not surprising.
Exactly. He's like, I don't. I was like, because even it said he's like, what's the point? Because the whole there was a meme that says it's transgenic mice versus transgender mice, and it's like corporate. What do you? What's the difference in the picture? Like it's like MAGA person's like, I can't
Oh
fucking
yeah.
read. You know. I just
Instead of I don't see
Yeah.
a difference. It's
Yeah.
I can't fucking read.
right. And this person's like, no. What's the point of the study? If humans transitions have already started, usually doing on testing on mice, they've already been tested on humans. You know, so what are we testing them on mice? Like, dude, it has nothing. He's bringing up sex. I'm like, and then he goes, I know what transgenic is. I'm probably more educated than you think. And I'm like, oh yeah, Smarty, what's transgenic? Because like you just told me all this shit about transgender, which is nothing about transgenic. Transgenic, all it means is that they change the mice's DNA to more suit human DNA. So when they do testing on like drugs and shit, they more correlate to a human than it would to a mouse. That's all transgenic is. But these retards like this guy, oh, why are we testing it on? We already know that humans do transgender and blah blah blah.
Like, that's not what it is at all.
I'm just like, you proved the meme right. Oh man, so stupidly funny. It's always funny when a meme can just prove it to be right. Like, exactly, bro. You don't even know how to read. The meme told you, bro. You should look up what it means. Transgenic refers to an organism or cell whose genomes have been altered by the introduction of one or more foreign DNA subsequences from another species by artificial means. That's what it means. Nothing about transgenders. Nothing about like you know like what the, like that's what I'm saying. I can give you a meme. It's right there. You could literally just type in the words. All you got to do is type in the words. Took me 4 seconds. And read what it says. And that was from the National Human Genome Research Institution, which is a government website, so they probably hate it, but you know, whatever. But the thing is, they cut this program because it said trans, and they thought it was fucking transgender. This is one of those stupid. This is one of those Elon Musk fucking cut it. We cut things because they're stupid, but then he didn't even he didn't know what he was cutting. Yeah, but he didn't even read it. He didn't even know. He's the first words were trans, so they probably automatically said, "Oh, it's transgender." Get rid of it. It's
fucking bigotry at its finest.
Like I said, if these people didn't vote and stuff, this would actually be like way more hilarious. It's always funny with a hint of sad. It's like, and you think you're smart and intelligent. Okay.
No. No intelligent life has ever been found.
Here we go. As Trump pivots to Russia, allies weigh sharing intel. So yeah, all the people around the world are not going to share this information anymore. It's like our CIA.
Oh, duh.
Well, I know.
I'm not really fucking surprised.
Not at all either. Yeah, the allies are weighing the move because of concerns about safeguarding foreign assets whose identities could inadvertently be revealed, said the source, who included 2 foreign officials. Dude, how about this? This is kind of crazy. The allies include Saudi Arabia and Israel. Israel's not going to share. They might not start sharing their... Dude, which is funny because we're trying to like help. Like Trump's on Israel's dick, so I don't know why they would be so anti-us. Kind of makes no sense, that one.
Yeah, I wouldn't know.
Yeah. That's so fucking crazy. There's gonna be a vote, I think, tomorrow on the budget, and I think we need like 5 Republicans to not vote for it. I think that's what
Let's
it'll be.
hope.
They don't have the votes. They don't think, at least right now. I mean, Trump's pressuring, doing all of his fucking bullying tactics right now. I just read this article earlier. Right now, it's 214 to 218 in the House for Republicans. So yeah, if five Republicans don't vote for it, they don't get it.
Let's hope.
This is I think
Let's
this,
hope
I
they'll
think
have
this I think this is the bill that cuts Medicaid and stuff.
Yeah. That would not be good.
And another thing that's funny, so like I have these fucking Trump retards always telling me like, I just want bills to be like one thing on the bill, so we just vote on one thing at a time and one, all this kind of stupid shit, right? This bill they're trying to pass, it's 99 pages long. It's like, oh, so you're fine with stuff being like this when it's your people, but when it's the other side, we hate these big bills. Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. It's like, got it.
Yeah. Now I have to go to my buddy Bill and tell him that, like, hey, Bill, remember how you keep saying this stuff? Are you going to call out your side now for doing the same thing?
Nice.
Let's see what dude says, if Eddie says anything else. I love all these people that are like, you're just so anti-Trump. Like, well, the problem is you're not. You're not.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. And the thing is, everything I'm posting is all true. Everything I'm saying, like, that's why you guys get so mad. I'm not telling you any lies. Nothing. The stock market going down, this going up, this going up. These are all true. You can hate it all you want and get mad at me for telling the truth, but it's the truth.
Yeah. There was some like a canvasser stopped over today for us and like gave me some shit. And I'm like, what the hell is this all about? It's like, oh, some dude I never heard of. And it's like, so is he pro Trump or against? He's pro. Just ripped it up and like, yeah, I don't vote for Nazis. Right. He's like, oh, okay. And it was a black dude too. It's like, dude, what is wrong with you? Why do you want to support a racist?
Because Trump is counterculture. He became cool with the counterculture movement. Like I said,
when
once he got arrested, I think.
Oh, Jesus Christ!
I think people saw him and was like, oh, he's one of us. He ain't one of those people, and they just started being like pro Trump. That'd be my guess. That'd be like the actual like moment.
Yeah.
But it's just it's just fucking crazy. It's funny though in a way. It's funny and it makes me want to cry.
Yeah. More or less cry.
Yeah. Like I said, it's all funny for real because it's funny how watching stupid people be stupid. But then, like I said, then you realize these people vote. They're like, oh, you vote now. Oh.
Yeah, and the other people who are decent people are getting fucked by the shit that they caused.
Yeah. This one guy made the point. He's like, you know what? If you all don't want to fucking vaccinate your kids, you know what? Maybe it's Darwinism. You guys can just kill yourselves off. I don't care, you know. But like now, other things like this, you're affecting everyone else. Now I have a problem, you know.
Yeah.
It's not a shame.
Yeah, because anybody who is, already vaccinated.
Yeah, we can't get it. We can't get it. I can't get it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
I know. And then these people are still being like anti-vax. Like, bro, you're literally watching it happen in real time, man. You're watching yourselves all kill themselves off in real time.
Oh, well, more power to them, I guess.
Yeah, so I kind of say.
Yeah, and I thought the biggest problem was going to be flat earthers.
I know. All flat earthers are Trump people.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're stupid.
He's like, I live in a civilized town with more cows than people.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I live in a place where people would shoot people with a shotgun in their face for walking on their property and absolutely fucking love it. Like, okay.
And you call that civilized. That's the exact opposite of civilized. It's like, okay, hillbilly, go fuck your sister again.
That's so funny.
Oh, that's my health up there. All right.
I'm like, the only person that talks this much shit about druggies are former druggies. So if the shoe fits, I'll call you Cinderella. Because, like, dude, honestly, like, I don't know anybody that we're talking about something and you just bring up druggies and druggies. Like, dude, you brought up druggies quite a bit. Like, you have to. He's like, I only smoke weed. I'm like, yeah, now. I'm talking about when you lived in Oakland. You must have been a hella druggie, bro.
Yeah, no shit.
Like I said, I don't know. I mean, I don't like druggies either, but I don't fucking go, man, all these druggies are just ruining everything and this and this and this. Like, no, they're like, they're low on the totem pole of things to worry about, bro.
They really are, unless if they're fucking with you directly.
Yeah, if they're part of my household, then yeah, that becomes a problem, you know, like, or whatever way out.
Yeah.
I know, it's just funny. It's like I said, I'm like, if you think that shooting people in the face is fucking civilized, then go live in your 400 people fucking city, because actual society doesn't really want you.
Exactly.
You are shunned from real society, because if that's the way you think, like, oh, somebody walked on my property, I can just shoot them in the fucking face. Even that's not true, because it has to be in your domicile, you fucking retard. He doesn't even know his own gun laws, because most retards like this don't even know.
Yeah, you just can't pull it because we don't have a stand your ground law. And on top of that,
Not
so
even
you're
that.
just walking, you can't shoot them. They have to be actively attacking you.
I know. But I'm saying like the whole property thing. Like, dude, even like Texas. I don't know about
Yeah.
Texas. Like, I'm pretty sure does Texas. I know they have a stand your ground, but I don't think you can just shoot someone for on your property.
No.
I think they have to be actually
Like malicious intent and like a threat to your safety.
someone on your land in Texas. In Texas, you can only shoot someone on your property if they are unlawfully trespassing and pose an imminent threat of serious bodily harm or danger. So yeah,
Sounds about right. You know, they still have that law for its purpose,
I
but
know.
they do have it worded really nicely, though.
you don't even know your own law.
What the fuck are you gonna do?
That's so funny. What a fucking don't even know his own laws. Like I said, even the most conservative state, you can't even do what the fuck you're talking about. Shoot someone in the face for going to my property. Okay.
The fuck you can.
I know, it's just funny. Like I'm saying, like again, that's why it's so funny about these dummies. It literally takes one Google. Like I could read something for 4 seconds and learn that you're lying or being dumb. Like like I said, I can't. You don't even force me to read an article, like a whole article to fucking debunk you. It takes 1 second. Oh man. But yeah, if they enter your domicile, like I said, your house or whatever, you have the right to shoot them.
Yeah.
So like that's true. I always remember that from my fucking gun safety class. I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yep, you can shoot a motherfucker. They enter your house without you wanting them."
Anything that somebody comes to your house, anything you do is nice and legal. Old Flanders. It doesn't work if you invite them.
Nope.
Go home.
Yep.
Love that. Flanders, will you come over? How do they go? Doesn't work. Go home. Fucking whack 'em.
Dude, isn't this so weird? Like I already knew about this, but Paul von Hindenburg was the president of Germany, and he literally he appointed Hitler chancellor for like no reason. Why? Why did he do this? I just don't. I never got
He's
this.
He's an idiot.
I know, but like you have the power, so why would you give someone else your power? Oh, it says right here. It says they wanted to use Hitler for their own agenda. Well, they underestimated him. Okay, that kind of makes sense, but still, like, they're like, oh, this guy's becoming popular. So let me just make him something in the government so I can use it to run for my shit. And then he just took over.
Pretty much. He was not to be trusted with any power.
No. Oh, did he try to say something back stupid again? Let's see what he said stupidly.
What the fuck?
He's like, transgenic mice are nothing more than GMOs, genetically modified organisms. They are studying how things like breast cancer would affect a trans. No. It's not about trans people.
Trans typically don't have, the actual organ.
Yep. Hold on.
You kind of need the organ, to have a cancer.
Mm-hmm. For sure. It's funny. He still brings it back to fucking trans people.
Somebody must really like trans people, I guess.
He's like, and they were studying on how things like breast cancer would affect a trans being. They are increased or decreasing their hormones. I do not explain shit to you, fucking dumbass. You have to do your actual research. I'm not saying just transgenic. That shit just dumb. Like, okay.
It's like whatever helps you sleep at night, I guess.
Ugh. All right. Let's see. The Reichstag, yeah. The Reichstag. Why did Hitler start World War II? Because same reason why Putin wants to do shit now. It's same shit.
Yeah.
You know what's sad is that Putin is literally Hitler. Trump just doesn't want to be. Like, Trump is actually not Hitler because he's not smart enough.
Yeah, exactly.
But Putin actually is. Putin wants to do all this shit for legitly.
When it was the right time for my wife and I to launch our small business, we chose LegalZoom to create our LLC and business.
Legals.
All right, I'm going to watch the underhanded tactics behind Hitler's rise to power by Real Histories. Put it at faster speed because I don't have all goddamn night. All right. Like, didn't people fucking read history class at all and know that these people are evil?
Nobody really paid attention to history because it's quote unquote boring.
I mean, some parts of it is. I'm not saying it isn't, but in the end, a lot of it's not, though. A lot of it's actually really fucking interesting, especially the more like detailed and nuanced you get into it.
Mm-hmm.
World War I had left Germany in a state of shock. 2 million fatalities, spiraling inflation, and unpaid debts to the Allied countries caused the nation to feel stripped of its identity and pride.
They felt that the Allies had deceived them, had abandoned all notions of honor by treating them as a conquered people.
Hitler was a war hero. He won the Iron Cross First Class. The First World War turned a nobody into a somebody.
Adolf Hitler had survived the conflict and found a political home in the German Workers' Party, a right-wing organization with racist and anti-Semitic roots.
Hitler, like many others, had to find some way of explaining it to himself. And like tens of thousands of others, he blamed socialist, Marxist Jews, people who undermined Germany from within.
Climbing the ranks, he changed the name to the National Socialist German Workers' Party and took control.
He was fulfilling a prefigured role which had always existed in German history and culture, the man who would deliver Germany from her enemies.
As leader, he started plotting the takeover of Munich and in turn Germany. The infamous Beer Hall Putsch was a resounding failure.
It was built up into an iconic episode in the history of the movement.
Hitler was arrested, put on trial.
Hitler was later imprisoned. His intentions, however, were still for total power and to return the nation to a state of pride. Hitler knew that he would need a different approach.
First of all, he had to get the army, police, the civil service and business on his side. And secondly, he had to develop a propaganda apparatus which would win votes.
If we can't outshoot them, we'll outvote them. And we'll do it by winning support.
He would fuse violent acts of terror with slick propaganda, which would all fuel this fatal attraction. In the late 1920s, the Nazi Party found themselves with diminishing support as the German economy became stronger.
In 1920,
Isn't that funny? Like, the economy was actually coming up, and then it's just like Trump now. The economy was actually doing a little bit better, and then they reforced it to go bad so that they can go back into power. Kind of funny how that works.
Germany was in quite reasonable circumstances. There had been a recovery from the depression after the war, recovery from the inflation with the stabilization of the currency in 1924. The economy appeared to be booming. This was largely because there was an enormous influx of American money. The Germans spent a lot of the loan money on things that were very desirable, like concert halls and swimming pools and so on, but they weren't productive. So Germany looked as if it was prospering.
Unforeseen events in the world economy would end up having huge ramifications for Germany.
Post-war economic recovery under the Weimar Republic, which was genuine enough while it lasted, that had collapsed. That had gone into free fall as a direct result of the Wall Street crash in New York.
October 29th, 1929, Black Tuesday. The New York Stock Exchange is in a panic. Frantic investors have scrambled to unload their stocks at any price. Everyone wants to sell. No one wants to buy. Suddenly, even the most gilt-edged securities are practically valueless. The stock market crash has come, and the Great Depression has begun.
They just pulled the rug out from Germany. They just withdrew their investments.
American banks withdrew the loans on which a German recovery after the hyperinflation of 1923 had depended. German banks collapsed. They withdrew their money from businesses. Businesses collapsed.
So many of the loans, particularly, had been made on a 14-day basis. They could just withdraw them. So the German economy contracted very suddenly, very quickly.
Every European country was affected. Germany was disastrously affected.
There was a saying of the time, New York sneezed, London caught cold, and Germany nearly died of influenza. It really was, first and foremost, a crisis of industrial society. And the major unemployment was in industry, particularly the building trade.
By 1932, there was 35 to 40% unemployment in Germany.
That is how catastrophic the Depression was. When you throw manual workers out of jobs, of course, the people who are the clerks in these occupations suffer as well.
The continuity of the Great Depression was absolutely critical. And once you got the worker in the dole queue, you had him as a potential Nazi, a potential stormtrooper.
The people of Germany were down and out, and the now called National Socialist Party had found a cause to champion that would increase their visibility and popularity.
In that atmosphere of crisis, when governments were only able to rule by decree because the parties couldn't get together and get behind.
What's happening, Captain?
Just played my first match of Halo 5.
On what? Halo?
Halo 5 in 3 years. And
I haven't played Halo probably since college times, honestly.
This is pretty much like, no, it's like, I play way better.
Well, if you haven't played for a while, it happens.
But I dropped the most damage out of everyone. Now this isn't like high rank, like a average place. But yeah, highest damage. 12 assists. 1 perfect kill and hitch. I had a. But yeah, 11 with plus minus or KD assist ratio. Well, yeah, we'll take that. I usually hit high mid 50 for accuracy.
For what?
40. I usually hit mid 50% accuracy.
Oh, accuracy, yeah.
45.
It depends on the gun, I think, a lot too, but yeah.
No, just straight handgun. I go 53 to like 58% usually. Straight handgun. But I was using the assault rifle a little bit that match. That's why it's down. Okay, that's why it's down. I was wondering why it was so low. That's the only reason. That would have been 55% easy, and I would have dropped. I had one decent guy on my team.
I know, it's nice when it's nice also when you have good teammates.
Well, no, if I didn't have that dude, I would have dropped probably 25 kills. Because I had 12 assists. I know between the 2 middle guys, probably 10 of them are mine. So, yeah, I probably would have dropped 25 kills that match. I'm going to back out. I'm going to go smoke. I'll be back in a minute.
All right, brother.
What, you're at risk, huh? I'm going to get that.
I'm trying. I know I got back into it like 2 months ago. I fucking been having fun. I'm like, dude, this game is fun.
Dude, I knew a guy that he would work like 8-hour day, come home, play Risk for 6 hours.
Yeah, and go to bed.
Yeah, it's a fun game and it's a relaxing game.
You know what? If there was like a streaming market for Risk players, like like I wouldn't mind. Like I'm
there
streaming.
is.
I'm
just like D&D. There is. There is.
Because I mean, I stream.
Like
I stream
D&D,
this game a lot.
There's probably a platform just for it, though. And it's probably like
Yeah,
a
I guess-
hidden kind of platform.
'cause I wonder what's-
Like called like Risky Streams or something, and it's probably got 5,000 people total or something.
Yeah.
Something like that.
No, I get you.
It's like, but I don't know for a fact. I'm just saying. There
No, I
probably
bet. Yeah,
is
I know what you're saying.
Someone that's like, I'm gonna buy my own server. I'm gonna run it. I'm gonna allow who I want in here, and we're gonna run our own little Risk video game deal. So it's Risk, but is it the one from 2015?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Because it said something else after it. Risk Global.
Yeah, the
okay.
game of global
I'm gonna look
domination.
that
I think
one.
it's called. Yeah.
Okay, Risk Global. I used to
on
love
Twitch.
playing that
Apparently, they got
board
20,000 followers in this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, dude. It's a good game. It just like it's boring to watch, but if you're playing, fun.
Well, see, like my thing is like I would love to be just like talking to arguing people and playing this like while I'm talking to people.
See,
or whatever.
I bet it would be kind of like if you ran like a franchise mode and your own league online in Madden. I
Yeah.
bet they have like Risk leagues where you
Dude, that would be
leave
dope.
off at a certain point, save it, and then you're able to come back. Because some games take like 3 full days, so that would be cool.
Kind of.
And
So,
I know
like,
it's out
when
there.
you play this,
I know it's out there.
I know. When you play this one, like you have like a minute and a half to move, so at least it forces you to kind of hurry the fuck up.
Yep. Yeah, and if you're playing on PC, yeah, you can obviously save it and be like, I know how many I had, whatever. You could probably just jot them back in and say, all right, let's go. Yeah, there's probably numbers. You'd be like, I had this many civilians, I had this, and this.
I wonder how
You
I-
punch in all
I
the
wonder
stuff,
how
and
I
then you
add-
say start.
I wonder how I add Risk to my fucking like thing here, maybe. on
But you're
Twitch.
playing on PC, right?
I am, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I'm on Xbox, so that's why Global Domination or whatever you're playing is just PC.
Yep.
They do have Risk for Xbox, but not that global one. So I might get that on my laptop or something because that'd be an easy play
Yeah, it's just something fun to do.
on my laptop. But I got games installing. Oh, dude, my internet's been working good. I've been able to play 2K like real basketball.
Oh,
and
really?
I've been playing really good. The last 4 matches, I've won 3 out of 4. The only one I lost to was I couldn't pick my team fast enough. I got stuck with the Blazers, and then I had to play LeBron, I think. So it was like I had to take down the Lakers with the Blazers, and I was doing all right for the first half, and then he took off. But yeah, other than that, dude, I played with the Wizards, and I won with them. I was playing the Nuggets, so I took down the Nuggets with the Wizards.
Okay.
So yeah, it's like, dude, it's starting to play pretty well on my Xbox.
Hell yeah, dude.
And yeah, I'm gonna go take a little break. I've been cleaning, remodeling the bathroom. It actually looks pretty good. I'm surprised with myself.
Well, fuck yeah, dude. That's awesome.
And yeah, I'll be back in 10.
I got you, brother.
All right, I know you're gonna think this is funny.
Okay.
I've been sorting through my CDs.
Yep.
CDs that I don't want.
Yep.
I set up a metal crate on a bar stool, and if I get pissed off at a game, I'm gonna whip shitty CDs at this metal crate and just watch them shatter. Right now, I got Britney Spears stacked up, and then I'm contemplating if I want to smash the 3 Days Grace one. It's a burnt CD, but man, I can't wait. I can't be loud tonight, but when I can, we're gonna break some CDs, and it's gonna be funny.
Right.
Oh, Brittany. She's finally going to get what's coming to her.
Right. That's funny.
All right, I'll be back in 10.
All right, brother. Oh man, okay, I'll go back to this for now until he comes back.
Policy to deal with this massive economic collapse. In that situation, voters thought this is the last straw. We've had hyperinflation, we've had international humiliation, we've got political chaos. The Nazis seem to be the one party that's led by youthful, determined, energetic individuals.
They promoted the party, actually, in 1930 particularly, as the Hitler movement, the Hitlerbewegung. This, of course, was after Hitler had had the ban on his public speaking lifted, and so he had been going around speaking a great deal.
It's very difficult to find anything to which the party was willing to commit itself.
They were very, very vague on what they intended to do. They seemed to have to offer something to every constituency in Germany, the worker, the manager, the lower middle class, women.
What he was saying in one place wasn't necessarily compatible with what he was saying elsewhere, in terms of, say, economic detail.
We're going to make Germany great again, we're going to recover, we're going to have work for everybody, we'll put Germany back on the international scene, we're going to rescue the German family, we'll give German women a much better life. These are all cliches. And when you probe, they really don't have any particular policies that they can actually present in a rational way to the general public.
Much of it rested simply on that Germany will be rescued, Germany will become a great power, and Hitler will be the person to achieve it.
Electoral success would come to the Nazis at the beginning of the...
I'm the only guy for the job. No one else can do it better than me. Not a coalition of people, not fucking any other person. I'm the only one who can do the job. Even though there's literally not anything in the world that's just done by one motherfucking person. It's always a coalition of people. It's how we work.
1930s, and their popularity continued to rise as the population grew more disillusioned with the established government.
I think that the electoral success of Hitler's party in 1932 didn't necessarily reflect the strengths of the party itself or its ideological appeal. It really reflected the extraordinary crisis that Germany had gone through as a result of the Wall Street crash. And I think what a lot of German people did was they desperately looked around for some kind of messiah. And that's how Hitler was being sold to the public.
Their appeal was many-sided, and of course, their vision was of what they called a Volksgemeinschaft, a folk community, in which the party could represent all social classes and groups.
Hitler stands for election as president in April 1932 against Hindenburg, who had been president since 1925. And he loses. But he comes second, he comes a pretty creditable second, and it's given him a much higher profile than he'd previously had. The propaganda continues, and in the election of July 1932, the Nazi Party gets 37% of the vote, and is the largest single party in the Reichstag with 230 seats, more than doubling its 1930 total. That's a tremendous success, but Hitler is not offered the chancellorship. Actually, it was his democratic right to be offered the chancellorship, but he is not. He is offered the vice-chancellorship, and he turns it down.
A large proportion of the middle class voted for the National Socialist Party in the July elections of 1932 as a protest to the Hindenburg government. By November, they had retracted their support.
There is another election in November, and the Nazi vote declines to 33%. Still, I think, 196 seats in the Reichstag. But it's a matter of considerable disappointment to a lot of followers.
So what they do, they seem to be on the verge of their death cough, their death rattle.
There is now not such a pressing need to offer Hitler the chancellorship. Local election votes and so on at the time are showing a decline in the Nazi vote. I mean, they might just have fizzled out.
There is then a minor election in the state of Lippe, and what the Nazis do is flood it with their marketing resource. They throw everything at this miniature state of Lippe, and they win. And it's at that point that Hindenburg finally invites Hitler to be part of a coalition government.
The small coterie of conservative politicians decided they could manipulate Hitler, offered him the chancellorship, and that was the start.
Adolf Hitler, leader of the German national movement, is made Chancellor of Germany, and Berlin goes wild in celebration of his victory.
Having secured the role as Reich Chancellor, it took one more twist of fate in favour of the National Socialists to see the future of Germany take a deadly turn and hand Hitler complete control. The Wall Street crash had sent Germany into economic crisis. The nation was subjected to a second wave of spiralling inflation and soaring unemployment. However, it gave the National Socialist Party the means to win a large proportion of the vote in a relatively short space of time. In January 1933, Hitler was appointed Reich Chancellor. His plan of total power was almost tangible. 4 weeks later, on February 27, 1933, at 9:25 p.m., an alarm call was taken in a Berlin fire station. Fire had broken out in the Reichstag building, the home of the German parliament. By 11:30 p.m., the fire was extinguished, but had left the building a gutted shell. On searching the smouldering ruin, a young Dutch communist, Marinus van der Lubbe, was found. He was arrested for starting the fire. According to police, he acted out of rebellion, a call for the German workers to rise up against the oppression of fascism. The Nazis saw the Communist Party as a huge threat to National Socialism, and also knew that a large proportion of the German population was suspicious of the far left.
Stalin having come to power, late 1920s, you have the first five-year plan in 1928, you have collectivization starting in 1929. Word gets back about what it means. And the last thing German peasants want is collectivization. A lot of German peasants, a lot of smallholders, they don't want collectivization, neither do the big landowners.
The fire allowed Hitler to pass two sets of legislation, the first of which was the Reichstag Fire Decree. This was drawn up the day after the incident and signed by President Hindenburg. The decree allowed the enforced imprisonment of anyone opposed to the Nazi regime. and action to be taken against any publication deemed critical of the cause. The decree led to the Enabling Act, passed in Parliament on March 23, 1933. It gave the Nazi Party power to enforce laws without the intervention of the Reichstag. Passing of the
Enabling Act is basically what Trump is trying to do when he says that he and Attorney General are the only people that can dictate the law. People don't realize. Like, it's so similar.
The Enabling Act essentially handed power to Hitler and the National Socialist Party. They immediately let it be known throughout Germany. Fritz Lustig, a Jewish emigrant who now resides in North London, was living in Berlin in 1933.
I was born in 1919. I had a very happy childhood. I was the youngest of 4 siblings, and I had a very happy time at school. Although I experienced the Nazis coming to power, we were rehearsing for a play at school. And suddenly we heard martial music sounding, and we looked out of the window, and there was a Nazi demonstration passing with lit torches and a band at the head of the procession. We read in the papers the next day that there had been similar processions all over Berlin, and we just had been happening to watch the one which took place in that particular part of town.
The national election of March 1933 saw the National Socialist Party take 43% of the vote, but they still failed to win a majority. Unbeknownst to the German population, this would be the last democratic election until World War II.
So people still thought in March, April 1933 that the democratic system was not dead, but it was. We look at it backwards, we can see what happened. People even say, why did all these people vote for a party that unleashed war and genocide? Well, they didn't know that's what they were going to do.
The Nazis had taken Germany by lawful means. Hitler's plan had worked, and although his party had still not managed to gain a majority, they had total power. They believed there was still an enemy who may stand in the way of this domination that would come from within the party itself. The termination of this enemy would culminate on July 2, 1934. The incident, known as the Night of the Long Knives, would see the murder of Ernst Röhm, the head of the Sturmabteilung.
Hitler and the party leadership had arrived at the point where they felt they had to take on the SA, the Sturmabteilung.
Various senior paladins of the Reich feared the power of Rome. They coveted it for themselves, specifically Himmler. And so they began to tell Hitler that Rome was plotting against him, which was not in fact true. The army hated them because they're a rival source of power.
I think from Hitler's point of view, the real problem was that he was worried that Rome really would develop a popular following, more popular perhaps in the end than the following for Hitler. There was a real distrust about Rome's motives and Rome's political ambitions.
Major Rome is very definitely number 2 to Hitler, and therefore is some sort of potential rival to his power.
And they had a ready-made weapon, and that was the SS, the Schutzstaffel.
The SS were originally a small battalion of the much larger SA, but in 1929, Heinrich Himmler was appointed leader and, taking inspiration from Röhm, began to rapidly expand the unit. Initially, they were Hitler's bodyguard, but by 1933, after the seizure of power, it became the internal security of the Nazi regime.
By 1934, they were growing into a real and formidable private army, equipped famously with their black uniforms, black helmets, with their own weaponry, and they did much of the business when Hitler decided it was time to move against the SA.
Using falsified evidence, Himmler had assembled a file which cited that Röhm had been paid 12 million Deutschmarks by France to overthrow Hitler. In addition to this, Röhm's homosexuality was used as a way of discrediting him. He and others in the SA leadership were accused of acts of drunkenness and debauchery. This was used as a way of excusing the action which Hitler was about to take.
So it was an easy matter to set them up with allegations of internal corruption, particularly of homosexuality, and it was a chance to settle a lot of old scores.
On the morning of June 30th, Hitler with a large number of SS marched into the hotel in Bad Wiessee, where Röhm and many leaders of the SA were staying. They were arrested at gunpoint and later executed.
It was a brutal business when the move was made. SA were taken totally by surprise, and much of their leadership was wiped out.
With the brutal execution of Röhm and other potential opponents, Hitler sent a clear message to all that opposition would not be tolerated. The Jewish population and those on the left were already living with constant persecution, yet the Nazi Party's popularity
Hero.
I'm gonna actually need probably 10, 15 more minutes. I totally forgot.
What do you gotta
Bronny's got swimming lessons at 1 a.m.
Oh shit.
So I gotta go drop him off. He's going to the community pool. He's getting better. He's getting better.
That's good.
Yeah, he still gets caught on the rim, but he's getting better.
He's working out slowly
boy.
but surely.
I think. Either way, he's gonna leave a stain.
That's funny.
Where the heck is all the other troops?
Mitch was in here earlier. Brandon he's doing his philosophy thing, so
Okay.
and then that's normal people, and then I don't know. I didn't get nobody random today. Today's just a random stream.
Yeah, dude. Oh, sorry to cut you off, but I was gonna say I got my external hard drive hooked up, so I got a shit ton of games. I might stay up late gaming. I slept late. I've been working on that bathroom, and I had a rest day. We'll say went to bed at what, like midnight? No, maybe it was about 2 or 3. And I woke up at 2 p.m. So I got a 12-hour sleep day in. So I feel energized.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I got a ton of games though. I got more installing because I wanted to load up my external in case I went somewhere. But yeah, I got 113 games installing.
For on your Xbox?
61 installing. Which
How much,
means
what do you
I got
have? Like
50.
2 terabytes of fucking memory?
Well, I bought this, around COVID time. This must have been like a dorm room package where it got confiscated or somebody got kicked out because I got a Xbox One, 4 controllers, 30 games, external hard drive, all the cords. It was all boxed up and taped up, all janky.
Yeah.
And when I opened the box, it smelled like fucking Jerry curls, dude. I swear it came from Alabama. And I'm not saying that. I'm not making that up. It was like every game was a Redbox game. 6 of them were NBA games. 5 of them were NFL games. And it seriously smelled like fryer grease. And I'm not being like racist. Like the box smelled like fucking fryer grease. And I'm pretty sure, I don't know. But maybe they found out that they were stealing Redbox games or something. And they just took them all. And then sold them for
that's probably
whatever a Redbox rental. Yeah, it was like they sold it for whatever a Redbox rental was. And it's like, somebody's going to get this, but you're not. They were like playing the system and like probably putting Cash App cards on there with like just enough to rent the game and then canceling the Cash App. And they found out who was doing it or something or pinned them. And yeah, either way, I got, basically $2,000 worth of Xbox equipment for $300. Excuse me. I don't know why the internet's going so slow though.
The internet?
I got a game running. I'm talking to you. There we go. And I'm trying to install a game. Let's see if that picks up. I cancel right now. You gonna be up late?
I'll be up for a couple more hours. I don't gotta work tomorrow. Well, it's only.
Okay.
So yeah, I
You
don't.
full time at Misfits?
Pretty much, I'm there Thursday through Monday.
What? Bartender or what?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, let me know. Put in the word.
I will. Like I said, if any of our cooks ever leave or anything, I'll let you know or shit like that or anybody.
Well, I did security, and I was starting to do bartender type shit. So it's like, even if you need just a bar back or something like that, or a couple days a week, let me know. Because, yeah, I'm usually up to bar hours every night anyway.
Right.
Whether I'm working or not. So, kind of got switched into bar hours, but I still wake up at like 8 a.m., 9 a.m. So, let me know.
I will do.
Yeah, I know bars like what, 10 a.m. to 2 a.m.
Somebody,
Is
yeah.
Misfits 1?
Yeah,
Is
it's
it
1 because we're Anoka.
Okay. And then it's, is it 10 a.m. or 11 a.m. that you open?
11.
Okay, which means people get there at 10. Okay. Let me know.
I will do, my brother.
Cool, cool. I will, I'll be back in a bit.
Right, I got you.
That is so damn funny to me.
A lot of things are fucking funny.
But it's just like, my sister thought it was weird, but I'm the only one that can really crack myself up, like fucking Joker crazy laughing to myself. Like, there's been times where probably 10 minutes I can't breathe. I'm laughing so fucking hard
That's
at a
funny.
snap I've made. And it's just like, no, at first it was like it was a small little experiment where I'm like, anything I think is funny, I'm going to record it.
Yeah, you said that before.
I've been doing
You should do that.
shit for like 3 or 4 straight years, dude. No, I'm not lying. I got probably 4,000 Snap stories, which are ones that I thought were funny enough to post, which means there's probably 2,000 in there that you could chop out and use for music lines. I mean, movie lines or music lines or whatever. It's like, dude, that 2-3 year experiment, I told myself in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna act like I'm living my life on the internet, like all these dudes that are people or girls or whatever that live their life on the internet, and I'm gonna clown on them while I'm working a full-time job and act like I'm living a, like a Paris Hilton type life just to clown. And it was like, for a while, I was having too much fun with it. But it seriously was just an experiment, and I'm glad I did it.
Yeah, like I said, for me, I'm trying to do more like, I'm trying to get more into the educational market. Like, I want people to try to not be so fucking stupid.
If you know anything about comedy,
I mean,
if
similar.
it's funny, there's some layer behind it.
Oh, that's
why
true.
it is
Yeah.
funny.
Oh, I know. I
You know,
understand.
so it's like,
A
yeah,
good
well,
comic.
you understand,
Yeah, I
but
do.
not other people.
Yeah, I'm saying a
Not
good
many
comic.
people do.
They really all they do is talk shit about the social issues going on, and make it funny.
Exactly.
You know, like.
Yeah. But yeah, I'll be right back.
All right, brother.
Amongst the German nation grew. The threat of violence, intelligent propaganda, and the complete monopoly of all institutions in Germany.
Sounds like someone else I know. Oh, the complete monopoly in all institutions. Who's trying to do that right now? Huh? I always forget.
Gave people no choice but to support.
I got a choice a little bit.
The National Socialist Party had not won a majority in any of the elections of the early 1930s. However, the passing of the Enabling Act saw Hitler gain complete control of Germany. In turn, the Night of the Long Knives had killed off any potential political threat he may have had. The German nation found themselves living under a dictatorship. Jews, communists, social democrats were all targeted as enemies of the state. Persecution, imprisonment, and systematic execution were all threats to these members of society. Working closely with Hitler, it
Oh man, this sounds like a video you should watch. This is a video dude needs to watch. They're trying to throw people in jail for no reason. Who sounds like someone else I know. Wow.
It was Joseph Goebbels who saw to it that the veneer of the Nazi Party would appeal to the masses. This campaign intensified once power had been consolidated, but its roots were set long before.
The self-image that they wanted to create was of a movement of youth.
The existing politicians were all in their 50s and 60s. The Nazis were in their 20s and 30s.
The embodiment of all the energies of a new...
I guess I never knew that. It was old versus new back in the day, huh? Okay. Yeah, man.
Germany, a new uncorrupted generation.
The one party that's led by youthful, determined, energetic individuals.
The Hitlerjugend, or Hitler Youth, were the personification of the Nazi image and gave the National Socialists a vibrant, youthful image.
Because Hitler believes that too much education is dangerous, The young Nazi gets his only schooling after working hours.
This sounds exactly like it. We're trying to cut the goddamn Department of Education to make people stupid, and now these people, Germans, are doing the same thing. It's so funny.
That too much education is dangerous.
Too much education.
The young Nazi gets his only schooling after working hours. A daily lecture on Germany's need for expansion and the triumph he will share when German armies march into the rich wheat fields of the Russian Ukraine.
The Hitler Youth eventually became almost compulsory. The Nazis market them very, very heavily. In other words, what we'd imagine them to be as a rigidly hierarchical organization with cruel discipline and bullying and so forth is not actually how they're self-presented. They're actually self-presented as a kind of adventure holiday.
At 18, every young man must serve 6 months in the Arbeitsdienst.
There was one boy in my form whom I quite liked, who was in the Hitler Youth. I was very keen on associating with him. I think he was less keen to associate with me.
The man who was first given charge of it, Baldur von Schirach, was an able organizer, good at recruiting, but the real takeoff was only after the Nazis took power. Within 18 months, they were able to claim 3.5 million members. And that doesn't count, of course, the women's and girls' organizations that were set up in parallel to it.
The girls' organization was called Bund Deutscher Mädel, the League of German Girls.
A lot of young people who gravitated to the Hitler movement actually then influenced their parents, not the other way around.
This week, we're hosting a free trading and investing workshop right here in Minneapolis. Inside the...
See, like, honestly, Trump the first time around was not like this. But this time around, his full-fledged became this, and it's so crazy to me. They're very eerily similar with so many things. It's like, he's similar to fucking Reagan, he's similar to this guy, he's similar to a lot of people.
It wasn't just youth groups that were monopolized by the Nazi Party. All organizations were in turn affected.
The Nazis forced every single voluntary society or organization in Germany to join the Nazi Party or become part of a Nazi apparatus. That meant all orchestras, opera houses, singing clubs, amateur dramatic societies, all of that, they had to become part of the Reich Chamber of Culture.
Yep, culture wars. What has Trump been running on for fucking 12 years? Culture war shit. Because if you can change a culture, you can change people's mindsets, which he has fucking done, sadly, to the billionth degree, because people are stupid. Like the guy I'm arguing about today. Like, you just can't do this dumb shit and think it's gonna fucking work.
Which is under the propaganda ministry. And of course, if you wanted to practice art and exhibit your work, you had to be admitted to the Chamber of Culture. And if you're Jewish, you wouldn't be admitted. If you're a modern artist, you wouldn't be admitted. So this is a way of imposing control.
All aspects of life were effectively taken over by the National Socialists. These changes were witnessed by the schoolchild Fritz Lustig.
We had a new headmaster. Our current headmaster was not Jewish, but he was a social democrat, and therefore his politics were not acceptable to the Nazis. And a new headmaster was appointed. He introduced several new measures. One of them was that the weekly Monday morning assembly was completely transformed. After everybody had sat down, one of the boys who was stationed at the entrance door shouted, "Achtung, attention," and then the headmaster walked in along the central aisle all through the hall with his arm outstretched in the Hitler salute, turned smartly round when he reached the podium, shouted "Heil Hitler," and the whole school had to answer with the same. I suppose I must have outstretched my hand in the Hitler salute because not to do that would have drawn attention to me. I didn't want to draw attention to myself by raising the question of whether I was excluded.
And that's how they get you a lot. They propagandize you, make it normal for everyone. Everyone loves Trump. Why don't you love him? Well, because that doesn't mean anything. He's a piece of shit. Ugh. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing fucking songs and shit in school about Trump.
Today, the Nazi propaganda machine is seeking to make Adolf Hitler the only god of the German people, out to destroy every established religion.
As the party took control of all areas of society and permeated into the lives of every German citizen, the need for greater, more effective propaganda became paramount.
There was nothing which wasn't propaganda of one sort or another. Every surface was interrogated for its propaganda potential.
The press was censored, and Nazi newspapers really had the lion's share of circulation.
The Volksempfänger, the People's Radio, was an affordable device manufactured on the orders of Joseph Goebbels. More people owning radio meant a larger audience for propaganda.
The propaganda barrage, to confuse, to make them lose faith, to divide and...
I'm gonna go pee. Be right back. Guess who's back? Back again. All right. Get back to our Nazi history.
To lull the fears of the little neutrals, Propaganda Minister Goebbels told them Germany didn't want a war at all. It was Britain and France that caused all the trouble.
Radio was taken over, and there was a Reich Broadcasting Company, and radio...
Goebbels. That's like the Tucker Carlson of today. Oh, don't worry. We're not doing anything serious. Just, little problems. Why are we supporting Zelensky when Putin is the good guy, right? That's what he always tells us. Fucking silly.
By 2025, the potential growth for the PCB market is valued at USD 12.5.
To confuse, to make them lose faith, to divide and conquer. To lull the fears of the little neutrals, Propaganda Minister Goebbels told them Germany didn't want a war at all. It was Britain and France that caused all the trouble.
Radio was taken over, and there was a Reich Broadcasting Company, and radio, of course, was dominated completely by state output. 70% of German homes owned a radio by 1939.
There were loudspeakers installed on lampposts and on trees, and when any of these features took place, of course, you were expected to stand still and listen to them.
Film production was taken over by the Nazis as well.
Joseph Goebbels was very much aware of the fact that people would get bored very quickly if they were subjected to a constant barrage of propaganda about how wonderful the Nazis were. He was rather upset when Hitler commissioned a propaganda film of the Nuremberg Party Rally of 1934 from a young actress, Leni Riefenstahl.
Triumph of the Will was a film directed by Leni Riefenstahl, which documents the 1934 Nuremberg Rally. Its main themes are unity and returning power to Germany.
Unity and returning power. What kind of unity, which is not unity, and who is it returning power to?
It was no mistake that Nazi symbolism and imagery are prominent throughout the film. Hitler understood the power of the Nazi brand.
You actually have a core brand symbol system. You have, obviously, the swastika, you have the stylized eagle. You have the other things like the oak leaves, the acorns. Then, of course, there's the uniforms. I once counted up the number of uniforms in Nazi Germany. There were about 150. These uniforms were highly symbolic. For example, the SS uniforms were vaguely modeled on the Death's Head Hussars of German history, which was a black uniform with the skull and crossbones and the stark silver. This was a way of boosting morale, of boosting identity, of priming solidarity. The brown shirts were the first organization to be costumed by Hugo Boss. I mean, it's just impossible to imagine, in fact, almost any other historical leader in history going to a catwalk showing of new clothes for the soldiers. Only Hitler, and for reasons unique to him and unique to the Third Reich.
The National Socialists found success in running both well-planned propaganda and brutal acts of violence simultaneously. However, it was the Olympic Games of 1936 which would see a halt to the terror and the suppression of anti-Semitism. Hitler understood the power of the Games and exploited them in order to show Europe and the rest of the world a false image of a peaceful, tolerant Germany. Captain Erich Braun was a spectator at the Games along with his father. It was clear that the Nazi propaganda machine was sending out the message it desired. But it was a black American athlete who stole the show.
I was 17 when we went to the Olympics. It was a wonderful occasion. Of course, to me, the highlight at that time was to see this wonderful athlete, Jesse Owens. Who won the 100 meters, the 200 meters, the 100 meters relay and the long jump. Quite incredible. He was poetry in motion.
The lanky star from Ohio State shatters all existing records as he takes the gold medal in the men's broad jump with a sensational leap of 26 feet, 5 5/16 inches.
Owens in particular was staggered by his reception in Germany as he got off the boat.
No Germans in the top three fucking pussies.
Wherever he went. The crowds chanted Owens, Owens all over the place, and for a brief time an American black man was more popular in Nazi Germany than Adolf Hitler himself.
Wix. One platform, any website. Unlimited creation. Describe your needs and goals, and AI will transform your tailored brief into a unique website that's ready to perform in minutes. Customize it. Shape your visitor's experience down to the finest detail.
Sorry, Wix.
The Olympics had placed Hitler in a favorable light throughout the world. However, once the Games were over, the Nazis would renew their persecution. The Jewish population would soon face a greater terror than they had ever previously suffered. The 1936 Olympics allowed Hitler to project to the world a vision of a tolerant, progressive nation. His popularity within Germany was also rising. Those parts of the nation who were not seen as a threat were being shown that the Nazi Party would deliver on the promises they made. But as with all aspects of the regime, there was a more sinister subplot.
The thing that had led people to vote had been the unemployment problem of the early 1930s and the promise that the Nazis would solve that. Well, they did, with a vengeance.
If anybody...
They solved it by putting everybody in the military and building military weaponry and stuff. So they did, but not the way that they probably thought it was going to happen, huh?
Was unemployed, or they were rounded up and made, for example, to chop wood, which was given to the elderly or the very poor.
Certainly by 1938, there were 400,000 unemployed in Germany. I mean, it is nothing.
But there were always offers to tempt them to join the Nazi Party. You join the ranks, be paid, be uniformed, seemed quite attractive.
Although it seemed that the whole nation was behind them, the main anti-Semitic message of the Jewish conspiracy was still being played out by the Department of Propaganda.
The idea of a Jewish world conspiracy was not one that was present in more than a very tiny fragment of the German population.
They were successful in business up to a point. They controlled some of the big departmental stores in Germany, but in no sense were they in control of the life of the Weimar state.
In every village, in every town and city are stormtroopers from whose headquarters the local party leader directs his district's campaign of terror, marks victims for persecution.
Hitler was keen on keeping the suppression of Jews at the forefront of Nazi policy. as Germany and the German nation were historically not known for their anti-Semitism.
It had been the place that many Jews had gone to from countries that genuinely were anti-Semitic. There's a strong anti-Semitic tradition in Austria, strong anti-Semitism in Romania. Soviet anti-Semitism was always kept under wraps, but it was certainly there. And of course Polish anti-Semitism, where a very large proportion of Europe's Jews lived.
A young Eric Brown, teaching in Germany, could see from an objective point of view the effect of the Nazis' anti-Semitic policies.
I was very aware of the fact that the Nazi regime was building up into a very, very clamorous political body, and a very ruthless political body too.
The Nazis began to unroll then their own brand of anti-Semitism, radical anti-Semitism.
There was an evil aspect, if you like to put it that way, to the Nazi regime.
On November 7th, 1938, Ernst von Rath, a German diplomat in Paris, was shot by Herschel Greenspan, a young German Jewish man. His motive was a direct response to Nazi anti-Semitism. 2 days later, von Rath was pronounced dead. Orders were given to the SA and SS to take to the streets and destroy all Jewish-owned property and businesses and arrest all Jewish men. The following 2 nights were an orchestrated and systematic series of attacks on Jews throughout Germany. It would become known as Kristallnacht. 91 Jews died and 300,000 were arrested and sent to concentration.
Oh boy.
What is happening?
Well, next Wolves game, they will win by 8.
Against the
That's
Nugs?
my guess. Yep.
So I was just looking. We're
Yeah, I
we're
just
like
took down
4
the
games
Nuggets
out of the
with the
3rd
Wizards,
spot.
dude.
We're 4 games out of the 3rd spot.
Yeah, and we got 4 games that are very winnable in the next 4 games, other than the Nuggets, right?
Oh yeah, we have like the
Jazz.
second easiest schedule.
We got the
on
Pelicans
the way out.
twice. Yeah, so it's like we got the Pelicans twice. I just looked at it, and then we have who was the other team that I just said?
I can tell you. Hold on.
The Jazz. Yep, Jazz and the Pelicans twice, and then the Nuggets or whatever. So, and I think when
I looked yesterday or whatever, I think we should at least win 10 games on the way out. We play Denver, Orlando, Utah next 3.
We have 20. We have 20 games, don't we?
No, like
Left?
17.
You think we're going 10 and 7? No, I already.
No, I'm saying that's a
number,
minimum. Like that's like the minimum.
Minimum of 10. Oh, minimum 10.
I'm saying there's like a few
I'm thinking
maybes.
12 and 5.
Yeah.
What are we? I what did I guess? I guessed 48, didn't I?
So right
Or
now
who
we're
did I get?
47. So or 37. So like I said, Denver.
37.
Denver is a maybe.
Yeah.
Orlando, we should
We'll
probably
go
beat.
11 and 6.
Utah, we should be Indiana.
We'll go
we should
11
beat
and 6.
Pelicans.
Say the team slower.
All right, Denver.
And just
Orlando.
win. Tough game, but win.
Utah.
Win. They beat us last time. That's a
Pacers.
win.
The Pacers.
That's a tough game. That is going to be a 1-point game.
I think we win
And
because
I
we're at
think
home.
we win it.
And
I
then we
think we
then we
win it.
play Pelicans back to back. So those are probably both wins.
It's first one's going to be a tough win. Second one, they're going to be winded from giving us everything we got, and we're going to win again. What's the next one?
On the second game on the 21st, I'm going to that game, so they're gonna win on the 21st.
Yeah, that'll be fun. That'll be fun.
And then we play the Pacers again.
That's going to be an extremely hard game.
This one's on the road,
and
so I think we lose
That's
this
the
one.
loss. That's the loss. That's the loss.
Then we play
right
Phoenix
there.
here.
And that's going to be a really tough game.
think
They're
we
going to
win,
give
but
us
I think it'll be a
everything
tough
we
game.
got. I think we lose. No,
Okay,
I think
that's
we
fine.
lose.
Then we played.
We beat them pretty easily. No, we beat them pretty easily
We
last
play
time.
Detroit here next.
Very tough game.
Yep.
Very tough game.
I think we win because I'm going.
I think we might lose that one.
That's all right.
I think we might lose that one.
I'm
but
taking-
I want to say a win with a bias.
I
there.
get you.
That's a
I'm taking
biased win.
EK to his first basketball game ever. This game.
That's the one to go. That's the one to go, dude. That's Detroit's on the up and up.
Yeah.
That's gonna be a really hard game. That's gonna be a fun one for you guys.
And then the next game we play Denver at Denver, so that's probably a loss. I would give us the next game like the one
Depending
here.
on- nah. Listen, it's like depending on what happens in the first Denver matchup.
Yep,
it's
I
gonna
get
be
that.
the opposite of that. So if we lose the first one, we win in Denver.
That's what I'm saying. I think we're gonna win the next one, so I'm saying
they
we're gonna lose
both
this
in-
one. They're both at
Are
Denver.
they both Denver? Oh, they're both Denver.
Yeah.
We get one of them. But we don't
That's what I
know.
think too. That's what I guess. I think we win the first one. That's why I'm saying I think we lose this one. But either way, I get your
Whatever.
point.
It's vice versa. If
And then we
lose
go.
the first
Then we go at Brooklyn.
That's a win.
That's a win.
That's a
At
win.
Philly.
Just
That's a win.
Straight. You can't say it like
They don't have
that, 'cause
Embiid.
Yeah, just straight. Oh, what? He's hurt again?
Yeah, he's out for the year.
Oh, never mind. Yeah, that's
Yeah, they're
a win.
trash. Then it's at Milwaukee. That's gonna be a tough game. It's doable, but it's a tough game. Giannis and Dame. And
What are we at? 3 losses or 4 so far?
I think we got 1, 2, 3, 3 and 2 maybes.
Okay, we'll call that 4. 4
Yeah.
losses so far.
And then we got
So we're at,
Memphis
like, 9 and...
at Memphis.
Wait, are you marking the Bucks as a loss or a maybe?
That's a maybe.
Okay. Okay, go ahead, Memphis.
Yep, we got Memphis. That's probably another maybe. I think we could beat them.
How many we got left? 4 games left?
2 left after that. Then it's Brooklyn and Utah on the way out. We win the last 2.
Okay, so then with the last 3 games, they'll be talking about the playoffs and seeding.
Yep. So I mean, yeah,
So then
technically
we
it'll come down to
might
what's
mark it.
happening because if
Yeah,
if
we
we're
might- we
if we're in the
might-
hunt, we'll play hard. If not, then we'll rest or whatever. Like
I would say we probably, depending on where we're seated and who we want to play in the playoffs and how well the first 15 games go, the last 2 games, I think we'll probably just play whoever we want to get ready for the playoffs.
Well, that's
You
what
know,
I'm saying. These last 3
Okay.
games, it'll kind of depend. Like we might win or lose. Kind of depends on what's happening. There's a lot of variables with the
The
seeding.
last two games for sure. They'll
Yeah.
be getting ready for the playoffs. But okay, so we're at about 10 and 4 with 3 games left. I'm saying we go 1 and 2, 11 and 6 in the last 17 games. That brings us to 48 and 34. And that was my guess.
And, you know, it sucks is that this year we've
games ago.
blown like 7, 8 games where we should have won. So it's like we're so close to being like a 55, 60 win team.
Well, that's what took Cat so long to figure out how to close out games.
I
And
mean,
was
technically, he
just
never
figuring
learned.
that out for
It's
us.
usually Ant that closes them out, but
Well, he
Cat
kinda did.
But Cat does help. The thing
It
is,
was both of them. It was both
at
of
least
them.
last game, if Julius Randle can play like this, where he's actually facilitating and being a passer and doing all the cool things, we're gonna be fine. But also, I like how Finch is finally changing his goddamn rotation. He's actually putting people in faster and letting people be fresh. Like Ant came out with like 4 minutes left in the first. Gobert came out like 4 minutes into the game. He was rotating people faster, so I think kept people fresher longer.
Yeah, we just, as long as we have like 12 guys that are ready to go every single
I
game.
think we do, dude. Like Terrence Shannon's
we'll be
been ripping
good.
it
Oh,
up,
we
dude.
definitely
Terrence Shannon's been playing really good.
No,
Fucking
not only that guy, Clark's been playing
Clark.
good.
Yeah, I'm saying like that's my
McDaniels
point. It's like we've
playing good.
had players stepping up huge.
Alexander's been playing good.
He's always been playing
Julius
good, honestly.
Randle has been playing good. He's been making quicker plays.
That's
He's
what I'm
been
saying.
seeing
I
the
think
floor
Julius
better.
sitting on the bench actually helped him because he got to watch our team play and learn like this is
He
how
needed
they
to
roll.
watch. He needed to rest himself. You forget he's coming off an injury that was.
No, that's
probably
part of it
worse
too.
than
I mean,
Cat.
that is definitely part
You
of it.
know?
But
Because it's like, and then yeah, once you see how things are, it's like, yeah, we should have won like
at least
we were up
7
like
games.
25, I think, at one point
Mhm.
in that last game. Now, I mean, it was the Spurs without their star, but it was like we could have won by 40.
Oh yeah.
For
Like I said, I
real.
was at the game,
And-
dude. Like the game never felt
Oh,
close,
yeah.
and there was a couple times I look up like we're only up by 8. Like, dude, I feel like we're blowing this
Yeah,
team
it's
out. and
like,
they're-
no, we were up by 20.
Oh, that's when I left. I'm saying, but like
We were up
there was
by
times in the second
19
quarter,
when they
like I
made-
said, the second quarter, I thought we were killing this team, and then when I look up, I'm like, dude, we're only up by like 8, 10 points. But like I'm saying, the way the
You
game was
just-
playing, it felt like we were up by like 50 points.
But did you see? We outsmarted them because it was like our young players knew that the Spurs couldn't play to our pace. They were always playing to Chris Paul's pace.
Yeah.
So that's why we put up 141 points, and they could never catch up.
Right.
They didn't even play a polished game, dude. They
No.
just wanted to put up 140 because the Rockets put up 140
Mhm.
on the same night.
Right.
That's it.
It was our season high of the year. Also, dude, we shot like almost 50% from the 3-point line. That's always amazing.
Well, when it's 5-on-4 breaks because they can't play to your pace, yeah, There's an
Oh yeah,
open
that's part of it.
3-point
Also,
shooter
dude,
every
we were just bigger than them, dude. We were getting so many we were out offensive rebounds. Like we missed shots. Like J.D. McDaniels got like 2-3 offensive rebounds. Julius got 2. Gobert got a couple. So I mean, like we were getting a lot of.
At it. We out rebounded them by like 7 rebounds, so it wasn't really that. It was that we hit so
It's
many
offensive
more
rebounds, though. I'm
three-pointers
saying. I
than
bet if we look at like because I'm
all
saying the
of
offensive
them,
ones
just
are the
more
killers.
opportunities. And then it was what else was it? I'm trying to think. Yeah, they just couldn't match our pace. And there was like Ant was holding the ball a little bit. If he makes that quick pass instead of the isolation, dude, we put up 150, maybe 155 in that game. It's like there was a few times where it was like they looked down at their feet, and if they just kept their eyes up, there's like always a good shooter on the Wolves open, and they're playing good D. With McDaniels, dude, he plays good D. He reminds me of Tayshaun.
Mm-hmm. McDaniels, since Ant got suspended and hurt and shit for that while, he's been playing really good. Since shooting the ball a lot better, having more confidence and shit. Yeah, the last 10 games he's averaging 19 points a game.
Who, Dante?
No, fucking J.D. McDaniels.
McDaniels. They're all playing good, honestly.
But I'm saying, so
Go
when
back.
Ant got hurt and he got to be the man for like 3 games in a row, I think that really boosted his confidence of like, hey man, I can actually like drive to the hoop. I can do things still. Like you don't need to just sit me in this corner and make me shoot threes. I can make plays too, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm saying he's been catching the ball more and attacking the rim and you know, doing things that I've always known he's capable of, but I just think he forgot or whatever, you know?
He's got them like Randy Moss arms. If you got a good point guard, he'll put it up there and he'll be doing some sick stuff. So it's like,
Well, yeah, he's fucking 6'9" and lanky.
yeah, which is really like Gobert.
Yeah, I'm
'Cause
saying,
he can
yeah,
jump higher,
him standing,
you know?
him standing up and shit. I bet he's probably like, I bet his wingspan is probably like 7 feet. So I bet he's probably like, I bet he's like 9.5 feet standing, just with his hands
That's
up.
what I'm saying. And Gobert's probably 9'10" standing. or
Yeah,
something, you know?
yeah, I agree. I'm saying just
You know?
because his length of his arms.
So it's like, but I guarantee you, McDaniel's vert is probably 5 inches higher. So it's like,
Oh yeah,
dude
dude.
can make plays, and he plays good D. Reward him.
Dude, he's
Step
always,
out
yeah.
in the ball.
Oh yeah, that's always kind of my thing. I'm like, just stop having him sit in the corner, dude. Like that's not his job. Like, oh, it is his job, but it's like not what he's meant to do. Like he's so much better than that.
Especially if he like tips the pass and you get a steal, pass it up to that guy so he can throw down a dunk.
Yep,
or
reward him.
whatever,
Yep.
You know.
Yep.
And yeah,
You gotta
everyone
show
looked
some love
pretty
to the
good.
homies once in a while, man.
Well, no, it's like you spark that extra opportunity, you gotta pass it to the dude. No,
Well, that's what
he's
I'm saying. You got to
0 for
reward
9.
him because I'm saying if the guy made a good play and you don't reward him, how he might not try as hard the next time. Like, no, you reward him. So guess what? He knows next time if he does something really good, he's gonna get the dunk or the 3 or whatever the fuck it is. You know.
But if dude's 0 for 9, it's like, all right, dude.
Maybe I mean you're right, but
move
again,
in a little bit
the thing is if
or
he's 0 for
drop
9, if he's
ball.
0 for 9 and he gets a wide open dunk, you know, he gets a steal and then you pass it to him, he gets a wide open dunk, that boosts the confidence. Still, he might actually go on a hot streak now.
Yeah, you're right. It is a streaky game, and yeah, you could hit 5-6 shots in a row.
But like I always say, like the thing is when
row.
you're shooting bad, like our coach always told us, get to the free throw line so you can shoot and make 1 or 2, you know, to see the confidence grow. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm saying for him, like
Or a layup.
let's say if you're 0 for 5 from the 3-point line, but now you get a wide open dunk. Well, now you got a dunk. You're like, all right, I got momentum, and now you fucking bang your next shot.
Mhm.
You know, now you're on a fucking heater.
It's a little different though when you're like 5'8". Yeah, get yourself a layup.
Well, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
saying for
dude.
him it's a dunk, but yeah, my point is,
No, for me, it's like, okay, I gotta draw falls or something, or get a steal, or
yep, yeah, that's what I'm
create
saying. You just got to see the ball go through the hoop.
with
Once you see
space.
the ball go through the hoop, your confidence goes. You're like, all right, I can do that. I know I can do this, but just seeing it makes it more believable, I guess, in your brain.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a mental thing. It's like I could juke somebody, run circles around them, watch them trip, look at them, pump fake, get 2 guys in the air, and then have 2 guys open in the corners for whoever I want to shoot the 3.
Well,
So
yeah,
it's
if
like,
you cross dude up 3 times and then you miss, nobody cares. You know, like
well, no, But it's like if you know you're gonna miss, and it's something that you typically miss, I would rather pass it out.
No, I
And
feel
if you
you.
have
Yeah.
a team that's like Duke or something, it's like, Reddick or Ty Lawson or whatever.
Yep.
You know, which one do I want to pass? You know, it's like
Oh, yeah,
if
for
you're
sure.
playing with a team of people that can't hit an elbow jump shot, you know, it's like
It's tough.
why would you pass it?
Oh,
But
I
I've
know.
never been a ball hawk, so
No, I get
it's
that.
always
That's kind of how I
game.
feel with a lot of Timberwolves players when they play with Rudy Gobert. Like I know I should
They
dump.
don't-
I know I should dump
no.
it to you, but I know you can't catch it unless it's high. So like it's really hard to throw to him.
He's getting better. He's getting better.
He's always fine on the high passes. It's the low passes. It's the ones he has to like actually like.
They're tough to catch, so stop passing them low to him.
Well, I know, but
Find out where
I know,
his
but sometimes
pocket
it's just
is.
the pocket. You know, you come off a pick and roll, and that little bounce pass is there. You just have to, like that's the pass. Like that's your angle.
Maybe you gotta bounce it higher or something.
I don't know.
'Cause, yeah, I don't know. I've never been 7'2", so
I know. I
don't
can't. I know. I get it. It's hard to judge. I'm just saying, but like I get why the Timberwolves sometimes don't pass to him because it's like, man, even if I make the pass,
Nah,
I'm
you
not sure.
can't do that. No, you still gotta pass it to him. If you didn't catch it, then that's on him, and he'll make up for it on D. He'll get a block, and then he'll throw down an alley oop, and you'll forget about it. No, you gotta make the pass to him. Otherwise, if you don't make that pass, especially if he's open, you mess up the synchronicity
Oh, I get that.
and the flow. It's like you can always play good D and get the ball back. But just passing to somebody because you think he's going to miss the shot, no, that's dumb. And that's why you get teams that have like 12 team assists for the whole game.
No, I get it.
Like, yeah. No, you gotta pass it to them. Dude, how do you ever expect them to play good if they never get it in a game situation?
No, I
Dude,
know.
I seen Gobert. Gobert did or no, I think it was Randall. He did an up and under on the fast, or no, it was Nas. It was Nas Reed. An up and under mid-air on the fast break last game. You were there, so I know you seen.
Julius Randle did like a it was Julius Randle did a fucking he went baseline spun like he was gonna shoot like a layup to his right hand and then like two people collapsed and he literally twisted his whole body because he knew Nas Reeves was in the corner and just twisted his body and threw it to the corner and Nas hit a three. It was super nice.
Yeah, they were playing really good. I know it's the Spurs, but
No, it's just
Spurs
it's
have
how
some good
it's the
players.
how. I don't I expected them to win, but I just wanted to see how
Every
they played.
team's a pro team. Every team's a pro team.
That's true
and
too,
they
but
played
it's just like I said, it's the how. It's the ball sharing, it's the movement. That's what I care more about. Like when I was watching the game, I was just like,
Yeah.
okay,
It looks smooth.
Yeah,
They
like I
play
said, they
pretty
look like a real team again, like where they actually want to pass each other and help each other out and do shit. It's like nice. Like, why did it take you guys so long? I mean, I get it's the one of those gelling, like it was new players with trades and shit. Like, it takes a while, but
If AAU kids can do it, why can't the NBA All Stars? For real.
Oh, I mean, I
It's
get what you're
like,
saying
come
for
on.
sure.
You played way more basketball than these dudes. You know where you should be. You know when you mess up.
No, I know.
You know when it's on you. Like, come on, you guys are getting paid to play basketball. Why is Nick sitting on the couch going like, they're not spaced right, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You guys are the pros.
Right.
But it's still fun to watch. It's good entertainment.
I
Once
like
you're
it. I mean,
picking it up.
I'm not. People hate
'Cause
the
it's
modern
spring
NBA.
training.
I mean, I get why people kind of don't like it. There's probably some things they should fix, but like, it's still a good sport. It's fun to watch, dude. It's entertaining.
I think so.
I think so too.
Is baseball starting soon? Is it
Real
spring
baseball.
training today?
Yeah, it's already started. Real baseball starts in like 18 days.
Okay, so that was spring training today with the Twins at one.
Yeah, everything's spring training for like another 2.5 weeks.
Hello, Gracie. What you doing, Gracie? Cat security.
Right.
What game do I want to play? Should we play something cross-play?
What are you trying to play?
Let me look at my list.
I'm still risking it, bisking it, baby. I got all
Are
of
ya?
Africa and the Middle East. I'm doing good. Just kidding.
Those ones are good. No, I used to always go for Australia because it was easy
I
to
would
hold
too.
on to.
Yep, I would too. But just I picked like random spots, so the computer picked randomly where it was. So I didn't really have a choice, or else I would have done that.
It's not a. It's like a small power was Australia. Cause
Yeah, no, but it only has one point of entry where you can fight me, so that's why you take it over.
So you can block it pretty well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it came. Oh man, I could buy the one for Xbox, but it's $5. It's like I don't spend.
Dude, it's free on Steam.
Yeah, can I get Steam on Xbox?
I honestly don't know. That is a good question.
I'm gonna try.
Like I said, I do not know.
Steam ID viewer. Oh, they got a new Monster Hunter.
Do they?
Yep.
The what game? What's it called? The AWOL or whatever. The one game that's new that fucking Mitch trying to get me to play.
The Spectre Divide. I'm sorry. Say it again.
There's a new game that Avowed. That's what it's called. That one looks pretty cool. It's on.
Someone told me.
It's on whatever it's called. Game Pass on Xbox. I think it is. I see Mitch play. It looks pretty cool.
It looked pretty cool, huh, Mama? Wow. Where are you?
Mom.
It looked like Elder Scrolls type game.
It did. That's what I'm saying. It looked pretty dope.
Is it? It's single player though, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, it's not multiplayer.
Yeah. See, I like to play RPGs with other people. I don't know.
Yeah, like
or at
MMOs
least
and
have 'em
shit.
around.
Yeah.
Like Diablo. You know.
Diablo?
at least
Yeah.
see 'em
I
running
played that with my
around.
brother sometimes. Diablo 4.
Yeah, I got 3 and 4. Let's sort by A to Z. I got a bunch of 360 games on too. That's cool. See, I got Diablo 3. Oh, the expansion, the Ultimate Edition.
Okay.
And then Diablo 4. I could play some Diablo. That'd be fun. What game are you playing?
I'm playing Risk right now.
Trying to think. Oh yeah, you guys were playing Brawl.
Brawlhalla, yeah. That's
That
when,
shit's
that's when
pretty
Patrick's
fun.
on. That's Patrick's favorite game.
What else we got? I'm gonna go back to Halo, I think. Let's what do you it's crossplay, probably 4. I don't play Fortnite though. I got it queued, just need it stuff. I want to try this little shooter game. Free game.
What game?
Spectre Divide or something.
Hmm.
Looks cartoony, kind of looks, I don't know. Looks cool. Let's
Kind of
try
like
it. 3
what's
on
it
3
called?
shooter.
Like a GameCube kind of, or like the
3
Switch
on
kind of
3
look.
shooter, I would think. Probably a Switch game. Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm saying like Nintendo has that really cartoony look.
Yeah, but Fortnite's on the game, so yeah, it's like it's usually whatever system didn't have good or that good or the lowest free, they would have the cartoony graphics. But Sega Dreamcast did that too. They had
Oh yeah, they did
cartoony-
kind of. Yep.
They had the best. They had the best system out before anybody.
I don't know why people didn't like it. That was the last Sega of all
Was-
time. I'm pretty sure.
They didn't know how to use it. They didn't know how good it actually was. It was like, it was from Japan. Sega's Japan. Japan's way ahead of everything as far as gaming.
Well, I mean, they all get their shit from Taiwan.
Yeah, this looks like a Fortnite type shooter, but it's free, and I bet that I'm just gonna hit start, and we're gonna go with see how I do. The tutorial. Oh, I didn't want to do that. Nah, fuck it. We're switching up to 2K. Changed my mind.
2K. Like I said, I didn't buy the. I played last year's game. I didn't play this year's game.
It plays pretty well, but I'm gonna pause all my games that are installed first. I guarantee you that Discord slows it down a bit. Oh, I'm streaming on Twitch, and so that's why I couldn't install. We'll see if we can play. I don't really care if it picks up. Nah, we're gonna play Halo 5. Just to. It was actually pretty fun. I think I have 200 hours played on Halo 5. No. It was 30 days, 600 hours played. So, we're gonna play a little bit of this. It's been a while. You're on the risky biz, aren't you?
I be. We got a guy with 100 people, and a guy with 74 people, and I got like 50, 30, 30. I split my people out because I got Africa.
Okay.
I technically, I'm tied with the most people at 125 apiece. There's a guy with 109, 107, and 77. So, but I just fucked dude's life up. He owned all of South America for a long time, and I just took over one of his properties finally.
Yeah. All right, I'm a platinum. I'm gonna square up on TV like I'm Mike Conley at the. I ain't left hand. I can't believe people are still.
What are people still doing?
They must be from Europe or something. No, for real. I was watching people's streams, dudes from Europe that would play it this late because it's a different time.
Yep. Yeah, the other day I was talking to some dude from Finland. He's like, "Oh, it's 8:30 in the morning my time." I'm like, "Oh, that's pretty dope."
No, they were pretty entertaining to watch.
I just like getting other people's perspectives, because, like, all right, you haven't grown up the way I grew up, so how do you think and feel about these things? You know?
What do you think about $9 Big Macs? What's a Big Mac?
What's a Big Mac? It's a Royale with cheese.
Royale with cheese.
That's funny.
Two soy burgers with brown color.
You ever had a big Kahuna burger? That is a good
The
burger.
most nutrition in a Big Mac is the sesame. Ever ate a French fry? Yeah. No, after watching that Super Size Me, I don't eat McDonald's very often.
I only eat it when I go to Michigan. Because I'm not trying to stop and eat for all day. It's like, all right, quick eat. What am I gonna eat? All right, that's what I'm eating.
All right, back on the Halo. It looks pretty good on my computer. Newer Xbox plays pretty good too. Okay, I'm playing this though.
Halo.
I can't give it up, man.
I can't give it up.
Who sniped? Tap.
Like I said, if I ever want to go back, I go back to motherfucking Modern Warfare 1. That's my OG. If I want to kill people, that's what I do.
Yeah, I could put it on here.
It has my favorite maps, at least for online maps.
I'm getting worked. I don't even have an assist yet. All right, time to get aggressive. That's the only way I can play.
There's a Nintendo. There was a Nintendo PlayStation prototype that was made when Nintendo still owned them, and it's sold in 2022 for $360,000.
Wow.
There ain't many. Like, there's only like I think probably like 10 in the world that have this. It's pretty cool looking. It's like a little. It's kind of, you can see the like both of them. You know. Crazy.
All right, I have an assist. That's it. So. All right, time to start moving. Down by 6.
You're playing Halo, you said?
Yeah, I'm playing Halo.
Okay. Being down 6 ain't much. It sucks when you come into the game, you're just getting walloped. You're like, oh, thank you.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do.
What are these dudes at? Get him, Lex.
Let's see here. What do you think of Sam Darnold today? You see that news?
What did I think of what?
Sam Darnold.
Oh, yeah, I knew that was coming.
So did I.
Didn't know what team. Where did he go again?
The Panthers, I think.
Panthers?
Pretty sure it's Panthers.
No.
110 million.
Went to Miami. Was it Miami?
No, but they have Tua. No, it's Panthers. I'm pretty sure. I'll double check, but I'm pretty positive.
It wasn't the Panthers.
Sam Darnold. Oh, the Seahawks.
Seahawks. I knew it was a fan team.
The Seahawks. A lot of money. I wouldn't have signed him. Not for that.
He's a good quarterback.
I mean, with a good team, yeah.
Team.
With a good team around him, yeah, he's a good quarterback. That's a lot of people, though. He's not the worst. I'm not going to talk shit about him, but I wouldn't have paid him $35 million a year or whatever the fuck they just gave him.
That's just, you know what you're getting. That's what it costs to get back. That you know what you're getting.
Maybe,
you know,
he
can throw pretty good.
Thing is, he's not going to have JJ and fucking everyone to throw to him. So.
Well, he's still good without them. He can throw good. He's got a good arm.
No, his arm's fine. It's well, he didn't have like there's certain games where he didn't have a lot of time.
He's gonna get even better, dude. He'll get even better. All right, I gotta clutch up, dude.
All right,
talking.
Camps. On November 9th, after a chamber music performance in which he was playing cello, Fritz Lustig returned home.
When I reached home, I saw that there was a great crowd in front of the entrance to the building where our flat was situated. The window had been smashed, and the people outside the shop was having themselves freely to any alcoholic drinks that were there. I went up to our flat unmolested, was told by my parents that this crowd had been there for some time, and they had in fact set fire to the shop.
Fritz and his father found hideouts at 2 different houses in the suburbs of Berlin. Neither faced arrest, but the events of Kristallnacht were immediately felt.
There were too many Jewish men in Berlin to arrest them all, because in the provinces we knew that there had been no exemptions. I went to my office the next morning. It was a Jewish-owned firm, and when I arrived, I was told that both our boss and his two sons had been arrested and put into concentration camps. When I went to the bank, the cashier asked me whether it was true, as he had heard, that my boss had been arrested. And I said, yes, it was true. And he shook his head and said, and I always thought he was an honest man.
I think the German population obviously knew it because it was there happening in front of their eyes. But to them, the stakes were so high in getting their pride back. I think about 80% of them were prepared to put up with anything if they could become what they wanted to be, a proud nation once again.
Hitler commanded his popularity amongst the German nation through a series of non-violent territory gains in the latter half of the 1930s.
Most Germans are terribly anxious. They do not want another war. They're afraid that their cities will be bombed. They don't want to go through another First World War. So there's huge relief when the various crises of the remilitarization, the Rhineland in 1936, Anschluss of Austria in 1938, the Czechoslovak crisis, they're all solved basically without bloodshed. That gains Hitler a reputation and popularity in Germany, but not because he's being militaristic. His idea is to refight the First World War, but on a better basis. So his aim very early on is to conquer Eastern Europe, use it as a kind of breadbasket, as a source of supplies, because one of the reasons why Germany lost in 1914 to 18 is because Germany did not have enough supplies. More than 500,000 Germans died from starvation or malnutrition in the First World War. So he wants to right that wrong.
Are you ready for retirement? Yep. Our free retirement planner shows you where you stand now and how you...
Retirement. I love when they give me ads.
Although Hitler was remilitarizing at an unprecedented rate, the German nation nor the rest of the world could see war on the horizon.
We did not know how close war was going to be. We did know that the Nazis had started rearming very soon after they came to power.
All the other great powers realized that Germany was rearming in the 1930s. It was secret, of course, until 1935, and declared openly. They had good intelligence on what was going on. But on the other hand, I think a great many politicians abroad had thought it was a bad idea to disarm Germany anyway. A modest rearmament might satisfy German ambitions. They would allow Germany back into the family of nations again.
Everybody who was anti-Nazi thought that the Allies would take steps to prevent further rearmaments, but they never did. The only reason I can think of why they didn't do it, because there was a great anti-war feeling in all those countries. None of the populations in Britain, France or Poland wanted a war to happen.
I knew there'd be trouble, but I certainly didn't think all-out war.
After the events of Kristallnacht, thousands of Jews had been forced to emigrate, and those that hadn't realized it was time to leave.
After the events of November 1938, it became obvious to everybody, including my parents, that to stay in Germany might be termed suicide, because one could no longer be sure that one's life was not in danger.
Fritz Lustig's parents managed to find refuge in Portugal, where his eldest sister lived. As war became inevitable, Eric Brown had no choice in leaving.
I was asleep on Sunday morning, the 3rd of September, when there was a thunderous knock at the door. When I opened it, there were two SS officers said our countries are at war, which was technically incorrect at 6 o'clock in the morning, because it wasn't until 11 o'clock we were at war. But I didn't think that was a very strong point to argue. And the SS chaps said, you'll have to come with us. So get dressed and get ready.
Eric Brown was detained for 3 days and then dropped at the Swiss border. From here, he made his way back to Britain, where he immediately signed up to the war effort. Having stayed in England in 1936, Fritz Lustig found refuge with the Quaker family with whom he had lodged.
When I emigrated...
You murking motherfuckers?
Nah, I'm warmed up now, though.
I'm warmed up. I'm all shook up. Mm-hmm. Hey, hey, baby.
I'm all warmed up. Hey, Elvis.
That was on a transatlantic steamer which was going from Hamburg via Cherbourg in France and Southampton in England. We interlanded in Cherbourg, and this was the first time I was able to walk about without being aware of having to look over my shoulder to see whether anybody was listening to what I said. In other words, to feel free. And that was a marvelous feeling, which I remember to this day.
In just 10 years, Hitler and the Nazis had moved from a marginal fascist party with a small following into a military dictatorship ready to wage full-scale war. The promise of rebuilding Germany and reinstating pride to the nation fueled Hitler's popularity, despite acts of savage violence that left thousands dead and a great deal more seeking refuge in other countries. When the curtain was raised on the theatre of combat, Germany rallied behind their Führer.
The victory over Poland was certainly welcomed, because it righted the wrong, as people saw it, of the territorial settlement at the end of the First World War. I think most Germans would have been very happy to leave it at that.
The high point of Hitler's popularity was undoubtedly the summer of 1940, after the very rapid conquest, with relatively little bloodshed.
The victories of 1939, 1940 created what proved to be a short-lived period of absolute mass euphoria in Germany.
One victory after another. All of this is ecstasy, because the prophet is what he says he is. He is real. He is an earthly god by this stage. And of course, the trouble is he begins to believe his own mythology.
The beginning of the Second World War would see the decline of Nazi support. It would take a costly and bloody war to end this horrific regime.
You ever look into history? You a history guy or no?
Depends what kind of history you're talking about. I have a good memory, so I guess.
Do you like World War II, World War I, anything like that?
Do I like it?
Like reading about it, learning about it?
Not really. But, like, I don't know. War's war.
Mm-hmm. I like to try to figure out like what causes it, what leads to it, like, because the thing is, we still do the same stupid shit now. So it's like I like to kind of see patterns and see how they correlate in today's world. So it kind of like gives me a better idea what's coming up, what's not coming up, kind of thing. There's a lot of shit happening right now in today's world with like geopolitics that's not normal. So.
Well, yeah, but it probably always has. It's just we've never known about it as normal citizens.
Well, you're kind of right to an extent, but I mean, it's more unnormal now than before. Like even like the last 10 years.
I don't know. It probably isn't. It's just
because now Russia's like openly warring, so I mean that's a big difference. Because usually it wasn't like
usually it was hush hush. Right.
Yeah, I'm saying it wasn't. Yeah, I'm saying it's the brazenness where you're just fucking like, hey man, we're gonna try to take over this country. What are you gonna do? It's like, oh man, like we haven't done that shit for like 100 years. Why are we doing it again?
Yeah, I don't. Your whole history repeating it, so I don't know.
Yeah, I guess I've been listening to a lot of World War II shit now.
It's like it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah, I mean it is, but
I always thought there was other ways around it, but
there should be, right? That's kind of always my thought process. Like, war should always be like the last thing you'd want.
There's
right?
always things where it's like, I told you, hey, we needed this or whatever. You didn't buy it or something.
Sometimes it's that way, yeah. Sometimes it's just bitch ass people. I mean, I do get that for sure. A lot of it's for resources and shit.
Are definitely not bitch ass people.
Who?
It's like like world leaders. They're not bitch ass people.
No, not necessarily. I mean,
saying. Yeah, when it comes to war and stuff like that.
Well, I'm saying like if you take over a country for like literally like no reason, like I'm just saying like something like that, like dude, that's fucked up. Now, like I said, if like again, if you're defending yourself or like. Yeah, if a country's like starving you out, yeah, I can see you fighting them because they're starving. Like there's like reasons to go to war, but like
exactly.
But I'm saying just to do it because like no, we shouldn't do that no more. Like I said, that day is supposed to be over. We're supposed to be done with the imperialism and shit like that. It's kind of sad that I feel like we're kind of going back to that world, and I don't know why we're doing that. Like. What happened to? I thought we liked being safe and secure, right? Like that's kind of how we've been for the last like long time.
Yeah. Privileged, kind of.
Oh, definitely.
But some people are more privileged than others, and
True. Even like our country, like, dude, we're not like Cambodia or what. Like, some of these countries got to deal with like
yeah,
real
we're
fucking issues.
pretty advanced compared to a lot of other countries. Yes.
Yeah.
But we could even improve on that.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, we can improve like our society, but also like realistically, we should want to also improve like other people's societies too. Like we shouldn't just fucking want like parts of the world to fucking have no money or no power or whatever. You know, like.
But I also don't know what's exactly going on.
Oh, I
That's
know.
also the
No, I get that.
saying what's
I'm just talking more like philosophically, like in the sense of like as humans, like we should learn that it's better when we coalition together versus trying to fight each other. Like when we work together, we do a lot of great things as human beings, but when
It's
we
just
fight
like
and argue and do dumb shit,
It's like if you scrimmage against a really good team, you both get better. And if you can respect
true. That's what I tell people. Like when I started playing my
You're
basketball,
good.
like from 6th to 7th grade, that was my probably my biggest year of growth as a basketball player because I started playing in Minneapolis all the time, which means I was playing against the best players all the time, which means that I fucking got so much better just from practicing them. You know, like it wasn't even the
That's how you
games,
got
it's just playing against them every day in practice. Man, that was tough.
I just love good competition, so that would have been the right move for me too. If
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's part of it too. I'm just saying, but I'm just going back to what you're saying. Like, even me, I'm saying I didn't have to play like with them or against them, but just me playing there all the time made me get better.
you know, if you're a good, like honestly, if you're a good basketball player, you don't like to play against people that aren't that good. You like
For
good
sure. Why would you? It's like
Yeah.
being a good basketball player, and then when you have like
They
when you have gym day and it's basketball day, everyone's like, "Oh, I'm like,
Yeah, like
like I don't
clowning
want to play
on
against
people.
you. Like you guys suck."
So they can say they scored like 50 points in the game, and like it's because you've been winning AAU. Most team, that ain't that, you know.
Yeah, I get it.
Or whatever. But I get it. Everybody wants to have good stats.
Right? Everybody does. Thing is, I mean, stats are cool, but if you don't win, I guess it doesn't really matter.
I got popped.
LegalZoom makes it simple to start.
All right.
Now you're waiting, huh? For your next game to start?
No, 21-19. We're up by 2.
Oh shit.
Everything's happening on.
Everything's happening so fast.
Joseph Goebbels, Hitler's infamous minister of propaganda. The original master of spin, who brainwashed the German people into joining the Nazi cause. His lies paved the way for the Holocaust and ushered in the most devastating war in modern history. His commitment was total.
To murder your 6 children, it requires devotion that becomes evil in itself.
Most people from my generation don't understand how over 70 years ago, a small group of Nazis could start a war that killed 60 million people. I want to find out, and to help me, I'm going to use playing cards. Today, they're used by both the military...
What was that?
You gotta stop sprint. I forgot, it's not like Halo Infinite. You gotta stop moving to get your shields back.
Oh really? I suppose yeah, just differences in each gameplay.
It's still fun.
Oh yeah.
and law enforcement to help identify their targets. But nobody has ever put together a pack of cards for the most notorious group of killers in history. Working with experts, I want to know where each of these Nazis rank in the hierarchy of evil. My name is James Ellis. This is Hitler's Most Wanted. I think the thing about the Goebbels to me that's so ironic that he's this key figure in the regime, but he's this short guy. He's something like 5 feet tall. He has a pronounced limp from clubfoot disability. He does not come across in any way as this ideal Nazi.
That's particularly true in a society and in a political movement that euthanizes people with disabilities.
He's extremely quick-witted, and he also has a certain amount of charm. And Goebbels, you know, could play that very, very successfully.
He not only demonstrated some narcissistic personality, but also he appeared to suffer from depression. He had significant insecurity, quite dramatic at times. Yet he holds this incredibly important and powerful position in the Nazi regime. So how did Joseph Goebbels seduce the German people into Nazism? I've come to Berlin, the center of Goebbels' propaganda machine.
So this is Babelplatz.
Yes.
That's Humboldt University?
Yes.
I'm in Babelplatz to find out more about a moment that defined Goebbels.
Here we have it.
I've met up with political activist Jörg Brownsdorf.
This monument, I can see there's what, empty bookshelves in there?
Sie haben keinen Wert mehr ohne die Bücher. Die Bücher sind der Inhalt der Regale.
On the night of May 10th, 1933, less than 3 months after Hitler took power, Nazi supporters torched a mountain of books by Jewish authors right here in this square.
Die Aktion wurde insbesondere organisiert von dem Nationalsozialistischen Hochschulbund. Gegen Mitternacht kam Goebbels und hielt dann noch eine Rede, eine Propagandarede.
Das Zeitalter eines überspitzten jüdischen Intellektualismus ist nun zu Ende. Der Durchbruch der deutschen Revolution hat auf dem deutschen Weg wieder die Gasse freigemacht.
Die LKWs mit ca. 25.000 Büchern wurden hier zu dem, damals hieß er noch Opernplatz.
So they burnt 25,000 volumes of books right here?
Circa, yes.
And I understand there was something like 40,000 people gathered in this square.
Diese mitternächtige Stunde den Ungeist der Vergangenheit den Flammen anzuvertrauen. Das ist eine starke, große und symbolische Handlung.
The book burnings, these were conceived of as a cleansing and a purification by fire. So it really was a ritual in the service of Nazi ideology.
Goebbels and the Nazis used spectacle and pageantry and iconography to absolutely dazzling effect. The massive swastika banners, the fires, the nighttime marching, it is visually so impressive.
With his incendiary speech, Joseph Goebbels put a government seal of approval on this racist act. He ordered the film of the event to be played in cinemas across the country.
You're in this room because you have a talent, not what you approve, but because
His goal was to turn the nation against the Jews.
Propaganda is simply selling a political message and trying to sell it really hard so that people are going to buy it. Now, you know, the harder the thing you're trying to sell, the better the propaganda's got to be. Buy us, the Nazi Party, and we will make the economy better. Buy us, the Nazi Party, and we will get rid of the Jews.
But who was Hitler's Minister of Propaganda? In 1924, Joseph Goebbels was a 27-year-old PhD and failed author, working at dead-end jobs just to get by. Germany's economy was a mess. Like many, Goebbels was looking for inspiration and someone to blame for his problems.
Goebbels was stuck. He was depressed. He didn't see any prospects. And he became entranced with the person of Adolf Hitler. He began reading anti-Semitic tracts. He began buying into anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. He began thinking of himself as somebody who was loyal to the idea of the folk or the race. And he saw Adolf Hitler almost as a religious savior.
He wrote, "We need a firm hand in Germany. Throw out the Jews who refuse to become real Germans. Give them a good beating, too." Germany is yearning for an individual, a man, as the earth yearns for rain in the summer.
Goebbels realizes that Hitler is the one. He's going to be the one who's going to solve Germany's problems. He's frankly captivated by Hitler, and as a result, he joins the Nazi Party. You know, he's there pretty near the beginning.
Goebbels was an intellectual and proved to be a skilled speechwriter and powerful public speaker. Hitler quickly recognized him as a valuable ally. In 1926, he sent Goebbels to Berlin to spearhead the Nazi cause there.
Goebbels, you know, is good at stage managing his own appearances. Hitler does the same thing. You know, like all good public speakers, they have an instinctive feel for their audience, but they also have that kind of narcissism that drives that type of figure on. He starts to peddle propaganda. You know, he gets those leaflets printed. He starts mounting an information war. Now, who's Goebbels targeting with his information war? Well, it's the same old enemies. It's the communists and the Jews.
It was the beginning of an unprecedented campaign of hate that would soon engulf Germany and the world. It's history that Jörg Braunsdorf, who owns Berlin's Tucholsky bookstore, fears we may soon be doomed to repeat. Internet propaganda, fueled by far-right groups, is sharply on the rise in Germany. These groups exploit the recent influx of migrants and asylum seekers in order to spread fear and misinformation.
So this is a meeting with people from the local community, and they're here to discuss a forthcoming counter-protest against what they're describing as a neo-Nazi demonstration.
Es ist eine Auftaktveranstaltung und Informationsveranstaltung aufgrund eines angekündigten bundesweiten Aufmarsches von Neonazis am 3. Oktober. Und diese Decken sind das Symbol von ihnen geworden. Und
the upcoming far-right march, and others like it, has Jörg and his group fearing that Germany is on a dangerous path towards fascism once again.
Plakaten für den 3. Oktober.
They've invited me to observe their countermarch in a few days' time.
Wollen. Also wir wollen nicht nur gegen Nazis demonstrieren, sondern wir wollen für eine Zivilgesellschaft demonstrieren. Und die Tatsache, dass in Deutschland der Rechtsradikalismus bis in die Mitte der Gesellschaft mittlerweile angekommen ist, macht es auch notwendig.
In the late 1920s, Joseph Goebbels organized similar marches as part of his campaign to propel Hitler and the Nazi Party into power. At the end of the decade, his efforts get a huge boost from a global crisis.
The stock market crash of 1929 and the resulting worldwide depression created adverse conditions for Germany, and Goebbels exploited those conditions to his own benefit and to the benefit of the Nazi Party. You have a series of elections in which Goebbels is able to engage in electioneering and to see the Nazis increase their share of the vote.
In 1933, Hitler became Chancellor of Germany. As his Minister of Propaganda, Joseph Goebbels moved to control newspapers, radio broadcasts, and film production.
Heute Morgen um 10 Uhr hat der Boykott begonnen. Wird bis die Mitternachtsstunde fortgesetzt.
Goebbels now commanded a national stage, and cultivating anti-Semitism became official government policy. In the spring of that year, Goebbels took to the podium in front of a massive Berlin crowd.
Vollzieht sich mit einer schlagartigen Wucht, aber auch mit einer imponierenden Manneszucht.
Goebbels was committed to removing Jews from the social, cultural, political, and economic life of Germany. And he was committed to spreading propaganda in order to make this happen.
The speech sparked a surge in vandalism to intimidate Jewish business owners and discourage customers. For Goebbels and the Nazis, graffiti was a cheap and easy method of propaganda to spread hate.
Hey, you know you're not actually allowed to drink in a beer commercial?
Since when?
You gotta wait till it's done.
And it's making a comeback.
We are going to the playground where the first swastika in our neighborhood was painted.
In a children's playground?
Yes.
On my journey to find out where Joseph Goebbels ranks in Hitler's hierarchy of evil, I met up with artist Ibo Amari.
But graffiti, as you can see in Berlin, is all around us.
Yes.
Nazi graffiti is on the rise in Germany, just as it was in the early years of Goebbels' rise to power.
So where are you taking me now?
We are going to the playground where the first swastika in our neighborhood was painted. And as you can see, it's a quite busy playground, a lot of kids, a lot of families. Same here, you can see graffiti everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere.
Ibo is on a mission to find Berlin's Nazi graffiti and paint over it. The project started right here in this predominantly immigrant neighborhood.
It was there, actually. You can see the black border, parts of the black outline. Here. Here, here. So it was quite big, as you can see.
Yeah. So when did this happen? When was the swastika placed here?
This was 2 years ago.
I'll take that.
2 years ago?
Yes.
And had you seen anything like that before in this area?
No, no. Like the last swastika, I personally, it's over 25 years.
25 years?
Yes.
I just can't believe the size of it. You said it's like 1.5 meters by 1 meter, and it's in a children's playground. And there's kids playing here right now.
Yes.
And there are apartment.
Yes.
Please
So
look
he
over.
risked to get caught, and he took a lot of risk to spread his hateful message.
According to Ibo, the swastika's sudden reappearance here was no coincidence.
The top 2 leading books that week when this swastika was painted were from a guy called Sarrazin. He tries to connect genetics with your intelligence, and a racist. And the second place was the corrected version of Mein Kampf, the book from Adolf Hitler.
And that's across Germany?
Across Germany, yes.
So the most popular book was essentially a racist book, and the
Yes.
second most popular
From Adolf
is Mein
Hitler.
Kampf.
Yes.
It was the start of a disturbing trend. Since then, Ibo has painted over scores of swastikas and other Nazi symbols.
If you see them and just think there's just one idiot, but out of one idiot there's 2 and 4 and 8, and all of a sudden they have a party and get voted.
It's an eerie reminder of what happened here in the 1930s. Goebbels' barrage of propaganda over multiple platforms spread the word of fascism across the country. Nazi ideology became inescapable. But there was one medium that obsessed him more than any other. Film.
Propaganda meant the use of images and mass media to spread ideas. And Goebbels was a master of that, and also the nascent medium of film.
Goebbels made hundreds of propaganda films, sometimes personally overseeing their production. I want to find out more about the methods he used, so I've come to a Berlin cinema to screen one with someone who knows the tricks of the trade.
Alexa?
Hi.
I'm James.
Alexa Karolinsky is a documentary filmmaker.
I understand you have an interesting perspective on Nazi propaganda films.
I grew up Jewish in Germany. All my grandparents were Holocaust survivors. So in order to understand my own identity and where I was growing up, I was always very interested in basically how this could have happened and how the Nazis were able to win over the hearts and minds of the German people.
So what makes propaganda different to, say, art and documentary?
Art is there to, as an expression of the artist or as a comment on society. And I think that propaganda is there to basically make you feel like you are part of something larger and that you get to partake in like a collective narcissism, for example, in the case of Nazis or new flare-ups when it comes to nationalist white supremacy.
Yeah, jeez.
We're watching a never-released propaganda film shot in Warsaw's Jewish ghetto. The film features callous Jewish policemen mistreating fellow Jews.
You guys can just pick up the pace a little bit.
Its intent was to portray them as a subhuman infestation of Poland.
So we're seeing here, obviously, violence being meted out against people, but the people who are committing the violence are not Nazis because they've got the Star of David on their arms. This kid here.
It's the same boy getting up twice in different shots.
The worst.
It's the same kid.
10 with 8 assists, but I guarantee you.
I wonder if this whole thing was staged.
Guaranteed.
Everybody's wearing these gray and dark coats, and he has this like crisp, cream-colored or white trench coat, and he really pops in the crowd. That's some smart styling and art direction.
We're watching a never-released propaganda film shot in Warsaw's Jewish ghetto. The film features callous Jewish policemen mistreating fellow Jews. Its intent was to portray them as a subhuman infestation of Poland.
So we're seeing here, obviously, violence being meted out against people, but the people who are committing the violence are not Nazis because they've got the Star of David on their arms. This kid here.
It's the same boy getting up twice in different shots.
It's, the same kid.
I wonder if this whole thing was staged. Everybody's wearing these gray and dark coats, and he has this like crisp, cream-colored or white trench coat, and he really pops in the crowd. That's some smart styling and art direction.
Chaplin type stuff.
Welcome to the ARC Venture Fund. To date, to get...
This is just the kind of visual trickery Joseph Goebbels became a master of. Despite the twisted nature of how he employed these methods, some consider him to be ahead of his time.
The whole idea that any violence that you see in this is being perpetrated not by Nazis, but by Jews. So it's Jewish violence against Jewish people, and building that whole conspiracy that they do it to themselves. And you wonder how staged those actions actually are, like that as an example, whether they're grabbing someone random.
Yeah, there probably are grabbing someone random. I don't know.
Although that woman's reaction was
No, that was real.
That was
real.
Is that what you're watching?
It's real in the sense that...
What was that?
Joseph Goebbels.
Goebbels, yeah. He was the propagandist for Hitler and Nazis back in the day, and they're going over like some of his propaganda films.
Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah, basically.
Charlie Chaplin.
Basically. You know that Charlie Chaplin finished like 4th in the Charlie Chaplin contest? Look-alike contest?
That's so damn funny.
It is funny.
That's hilarious.
But no, yeah, this guy was like the main propagandist for Hitler and shit. And it's going through his history, like how, like he read this one racist book and then he read Mein Kampf like back to back, and it made him like fully jump on board of being like this guy. And it's going over like his like some of the movies he made and shit, like some of the propaganda movies. Like you can see like this kid is the same kid twice, you know, like, and you know, you can just see their actors and shit. But he's making it look like he was making it look like these Jew cops were fucking beating random Polands and stuff like that, you know. But it wasn't. It was just all movie film, whatever. So yeah, like I said, I like history stuff sometimes, so I'm going down this rabbit hole.
There are real people on the street, and they're like, "Run, just run.
Yeah.
Go run."
Today, even a modestly trained eye could spot Goebbels' filming tricks. But back in 1942, this just wasn't the case.
You have to imagine a public that is not used to mass media and perhaps not as sophisticated in separating truth from fiction, in recognizing manipulation of images as we like to think we are.
Fiction and reality are cleverly blurred. In effect, he's producing a 1940s version of what we now call fake news. This is racism at its ugliest and most hateful. To audiences back then, it served to reinforce the stereotypes about Jews that Goebbels had been peddling for years.
So what are some of the stereotypes that
Doing business, the collar is like flipped up, two men talking with each other, maybe they're up to no good. Also in the propaganda footage and all this footage, you usually see Jews as kind of like sheepish, like just following and walking and sad and hungry. You rarely see them defending themselves.
Yeah.
So they're depicting them as poor, despicable, dirty people. The consequence of being part of the Jewish world conspiracy is that is how you will end up.
Propaganda is absolutely vital for them in order to be able to sell what they want to do, in order to promote all the objectionable policies that they're going to carry out. Without the propaganda, you know, the Nazi grip on power would have surely been a lot weaker.
Dissecting Goebbels' cinematic technique was a deeply disturbing experience. But now I'm about to see firsthand what happens when people believe far-right propaganda and act on it. It's the day of Jörg Braunsdorf's counter-protest against a planned far-right march through Berlin. It comes on the anniversary of a huge turning point in Germany's history, October the 3rd, Reunification Day. What should be a celebration of German unity has instead become a standoff between two deeply opposed ideals.
Und heute sind die Feierlichkeiten zum Tag der deutschen Einheit. Leider wollen einige Leute, die sich hier bewegen in Berlin, mit denen wir gar nicht zusammen feiern wollen.
We're in a cordoned-off area. There are hundreds of people here. I'm being told there might be up to 1,000 far-right marches going through the city at some point, and they will be confronted by these people here. So we're expecting a far-right march from here any moment. There are hundreds of counter-protesters here behind this barricade and hundreds more on the other side. In this area, there are dozens of cops, some of them in riot gear. It is so tense right now. You can tell that they don't know what to expect, and they're clearly prepared for things to get violent. Oh my goodness, that looks like an armored vehicle. They're definitely preparing for the worst, that's for sure. They're making their presence very clear to the marchers that are on their way. It's very tense. The counter-protesters are behind the barricade. The cops are here, riot gear. There's cops all around this area. Anything could happen right now. Here they come.
I'm in Berlin on a mission to find out where Nazi propaganda minister Joseph Goebbels ranks in Hitler's hierarchy of evil. Right now, a far-right march, fueled by the same kind of hate propaganda Goebbels produced during the Nazi era, is heading straight for me.
So the people from some of these buildings have been throwing stuff down on the marchers, and some sort of a scuffle has broken out.
One marcher is led away with a head injury.
so strange to be in the middle of this, to think this is Berlin 2018.
Thankfully, there were no serious confrontations. The far-right marches passed, and I looked for counter-protest organizer Jörg Braunsdorf to get his thoughts.
Das Wunderbare war im Grunde genommen der Nachmittag. Es waren bestimmt viermal so viel, wie wir erwartet haben.
So why is it so important that you protest marches like that?
Aber wir wollen auch den Parteien in den Parlamenten, wir wollen den Institutionen, den Organisationen, den Gewerkschaften, eigentlich jedem Menschen auch das Signal dafür geben, dass sie für ihre demokratische Struktur, für ihre Organisation auch selbstverantwortlich sind.
The people who protested against the march have their way of fighting fascism, but others choose to do it differently. Not far away, graffiti artist Ibo Amari is teaching today's young Berliners some visual trickery of his own.
So this workshop is teaching these kids how to transform swastikas into artwork. So we've got one here that's being transformed into, looks like a king or a queen. Here is a stereo player, windows in a house. So what they're really doing is they're getting young people to understand what these symbols mean and take them and transform them into something completely different. It's a really, really important social project. Why is it so important to get kids doing it?
They are the future, actually. So if they are not taught to not tolerate stuff like this, who else? The old heads, it's more difficult to teach old people. So, and they have fun, are inspired, and it's the best combination. Young people being creative and doing something good against racism.
Yes.
With 7 shifts, it's easier than ever to publish and manage staff schedules. Your staff can use the free 7 Shifts app to clock in and...
Ibo's classes wrap up with a little fieldwork.
By each stroke, he's reducing hate, actually. So the more he paints, the less hateful the message gets. And when he's done, that you can see what it was before.
Yeah.
You've seen the kids?
Yeah.
What they've done?
Yeah.
So you as an adult should be much easier for you.
I don't know about that.
Then? Yes.
That?
Yes.
A little closer. I don't have a clue what I'm doing, but I'm going to try it out anyway.
Ja, der will aber auch keinen riesen Hinkelstein haben. Guck mal. Muss ganz, ganz fest sein.
Ist auch bei den großen Yeah. So, was it difficult?
No, it was easy.
See? Like, next time when you see a swastika and nobody removes it, just go there, grab 2 cans and make a cat as you did. Kannst du das nachmalen? Vielleicht? Wollen wir es probieren? She just said she can draw better than you.
Oh, I'm sure she can. That's because you've gone to his workshop.
Yeah, that's quite exciting, yeah.
I just love how you do this. Like, you transform something that's so horrible, but you're sending a message. Because, say, someone had, whoever put that swastika there originally comes by, then they suddenly like, oh my God, like, what happened to my swastika? It's now a cat? Like, it's a real, like, you're sticking it to those people.
It is an answer, definitely. And we did not, like, leave a hateful message like that unanswered.
No.
So it's an answer with love, creativity, and a lot of fun, huh? Macht Spaß.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This has been such an amazing experience being a part today of this program, whereby they are transforming these horrible, racist images of swastikas, and they are changing them into these beautiful pieces of artwork instead. I think it's so empowering, and it sends such an important message to the creators of the swastikas here, that these people are not going to let it stand, and that they are going to transform it into something completely different. I think it's so important, and it's been such a powerful experience for me to be part of this.
If anyone had attempted this 80 years ago, however, they would have been arrested, possibly even killed. In Germany, under Nazi rule, resistance was close to futile. By 1941, the country was fully under Goebbels' propaganda spell. But he was about to use that control to help launch an attack that was nothing short of madness. His method of rallying support for that campaign relied on one of the oldest tricks in the book.
He built fear. We can never win that war without crushing Soviet Union.
My mission to find out where Joseph Goebbels ranks in Hitler's hierarchy of evil brings me to a war memorial in Berlin's Treptower Park, built to honor Soviet soldiers who died in the Battle of Berlin.
The Hollywood perception of the Second World War, I feel, is this focus on the American aspect, that America's role in defeating Nazi Germany, accompanied by its Western allies, Britain and Canada. But people forget the brunt of the fighting was carried out by the Soviet Union, and they lost millions of their citizens in the process, and they were the ones that finally conquered the Nazi capital, Berlin. Now that is one hell of a statue. It's huge.
Made to be seen.
Historian Sebastian Gerhardt is an expert on Germany's war against the Soviets.
I can't get over the scale of this place. So what exactly is it?
It is a Soviet war memorial prepared shortly already after Second World War, but it came at a high price.
Das Reichsministerium für Volksaufklärung und Propaganda. Reichsminister Dr. Goebbels verließ die Proklamation des Führers.
On June 22nd, 1941, Goebbels took to the airwaves to announce that Hitler had just launched an invasion of the vast Soviet Union, the hated communist enemy that Goebbels had been campaigning against since his first days in the Nazi Party. But the country was massive in both size and population, and this made him uneasy.
The Nazi invasion of the Soviet Union in June 1941 represents a real challenge to Goebbels because he doesn't really agree with it. He has his doubts to drive all those tanks and aeroplanes, eastwards into Russia. But Goebbels is nothing if not loyal to Hitler and adaptable. And, he will use every propaganda tool in his basket to try and get the sell through to the German people.
People made a strong case out of producing fear of Soviet-style communism, fear of such a big power in the east of Europe. We can never win that war without crushing Soviet Union, and we have to win that war, because otherwise Soviet Union would win, and that would result in a complete disaster for Germany, complete destruction of German people.
Hitler launched a war of complete annihilation on the Soviets. In the opening days of the campaign, the Nazis drove deep into Soviet territory. Writing in his diary, Goebbels was ecstatic. The divine judgment of history is being passed onto the Soviet Union. I believe the war against Moscow will prove to be our greatest coup, psychologically and perhaps even militarily as well.
Really see this as a coup.
But ultimately, Russia's sheer size and seemingly endless supply of troops were just too much for the Nazis. The Red Army stopped Hitler's advance in the bitterly cold winter of 1942 at the city of Stalingrad. German losses were staggering.
What really fights Goebbels' propaganda, and there's nothing he can do about it, is the death of someone in your family. If you've lost a son, if you've lost a husband, if you've lost a father on the Russian front, no words from Goebbels, no propaganda message is going to counter that sense of loss.
Goebbels realized the war was going badly and tried to rally the nation.
They're blind believers.
He called for total war against what he called an inferior people.
Are you ready to help Target Center Howell Wolves fans? Be in the building for Wolves Pelicans on Wednesday, March.
And the irony is that the Soviets did come, and they did defeat the Nazis, and they did conquer half of Germany.
Yes, they did. But even after they liberated all parts of the Soviet Union from Nazi occupation, at the end of 1944, afterwards by going to other countries in Eastern Europe and going to Berlin, outside the Soviet Union have been killed more than 1 million Soviet soldiers.
I mean, do we have an idea of how many Soviet citizens, soldiers and civilians, died defeating Nazi Germany?
About 27 million Soviet citizens killed during the Second World War.
27 million.
That's
crazy.
Out of a population of about 190 million people. That makes that every family had casualties.
Those numbers, that's just absolutely unbelievable.
It is understandable why the Soviet Union did not break down even with these heavy casualties. There really was no choice than to win the war against Hitler.
It was either win or face annihilation.
Yes, either or. Like all Soviet war memorials in Berlin, it is a cemetery too, for about 7,000 Soviet soldiers buried here.
Wow.
So many losses.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to understand that we're in the middle of Berlin. We're not in Russia, we're in the middle of Berlin, and we're standing in a Soviet war memorial and graveyard in Berlin.
Yes.
And that's because the Soviets conquered Berlin at the end of the war in Europe.
There was no other chance to make an end to Nazi Germany, and so they had to.
In April 1945, the Red Army arrived at the gates of Berlin with payback on its mind.
Well, the revenge aspect.
Yes. At the very end in Berlin, there was heavy fighting up to May the 2nd, 1945.
And in the Battle of Berlin, how many Soviet soldiers are estimated to have been killed?
About 80,000, that is the official Soviet account.
80,000?
80,000.
How short a period are we talking here?
We are speaking about less than 3 weeks.
In 3 weeks, 80,000 Soviet soldiers dead?
Yeah.
Wow.
While the battle for Berlin raged in the streets, Joseph Goebbels, along with his wife Magda and their 6 children, took refuge with Hitler and other high-ranking Nazis in an underground bunker in the city's central district. It was there that Goebbels spent his final days, and where his story came to a horrifying conclusion.
Verstanden zu leben und so werden wir auch verstehen zu sterben. So, das hat er gesagt als faktisch letzte Worte.
In my mission to find where Joseph Goebbels ranks in Hitler's hierarchy of evil, I'm looking for the Berlin site of the underground Führer bunker where he died.
That would be cool.
It's not easy to find. I'm here to meet Berlin journalist Lothar Heinke, who's going to tell me about Goebbels' final hours as the Red Army closed in on this spot.
Hi.
Hello.
I'm James.
Hello, James. Guten Tag.
Very nice to meet you.
Okay.
So I had quite a trouble finding this place because
Yeah.
there's nothing left here of the bunker. So
No, nothing.
nothing.
Nothing. The Soviet Red Army hat das gesprengt und dann war das beseitigt worden.
How long has that plaque been there?
Steht dort seit 2006. Und der Staat hat sich eigentlich nicht so richtig getraut, hier entweder den Bunker wieder zu öffnen und als Touristenattraktion. Das Dritte Reich hat ja die halbe Welt durcheinander gebracht und hat Millionen Tote. Teil des Systems. Nicht? Und hier war das Ende des Systems, des Nationalsozialismus.
So how did it all end here for Goebbels?
Es muss hier eine ziemlich bedrückte Stimmung in diesem Bunker gewesen sein. Es ging alles wild durcheinander. Hitler hat sich erschossen mit Eva Braun.
On April 30th, 1945, Hitler committed suicide to avoid the humiliation of being captured. Only a day earlier, the Führer had named Joseph Goebbels to be his successor as Chancellor of Germany.
Der Goebbels hat sich verabschiedet von seinen Leuten und hat, wie gesagt, dem Telefonisten die Hand gegeben, was er nie gemacht hatte vorher. Und hat ihm tief in die Augen geblickt und gesagt, wir haben verstanden zu leben und so werden wir auch verstehen zu sterben. So, das hat er gesagt, als faktisch letzte Worte. Und dann ist er in sein Zimmer gegangen und hat sich mit seiner Frau vergiftet.
Joseph Goebbels and his wife were dead. German soldiers tried to burn the couple's bodies in the courtyard to keep the Soviets from using them as trophies. But the sight of Goebbels' charred remains were nothing compared to what was discovered deep inside the bunker itself.
Joseph and Magda Goebbels make the most appalling and evil decision that any parent can make, and that is to murder their children.
They couldn't imagine any purpose in living or in having their children live in a world without Adolf Hitler and without National Socialism.
Crazy.
For 21 years, Goebbels was devoted to Hitler and the Nazi Party. It was his life. It was his everything. In many ways, it was love, the worst kind of love, an obsessional lust for pure evil.
It could be the ultimate final sacrifice of a true zealot.
Learning about Joseph Goebbels' devotion to Hitler has been both a fascinating and disturbing experience. Now it's time for me to determine where this master of Nazi propaganda fits into Hitler's hierarchy of evil.
You know, to murder your 6 children requires devotion that becomes evil in itself.
True. Man, what a fucking piece of shit. How do people do this to themselves? Crazy.
My journey across Berlin has given me new insight into the role Joseph Goebbels played in the Nazi regime. Now it's time for us to decide where he should be placed in the hierarchy of evil. Using our unique system of playing cards, I want to determine where Goebbels ranks in Hitler's Most Wanted. Of all the places I visited connected to Goebbels' story, the one that really struck me the most was the site of the famous May 1933 book burning. And Goebbels was there acting as this sort of master of ceremonies.
Eines überspitzten jüdischen Intellektualismus ist nun zu Ende.
The thing about Goebbels is that he really believed in anti-Semitism. Some of these really senior Nazis, you know, were there. They were anti-Semites for practical reasons in order to get ahead. Goebbels, he really believed in it.
I think some people will think that because he was so anti-Semitic that suggests an elevation of evil. Anthony, what influence do you think his message of hatred and violence had on the German masses?
When you think about Nazism, the frenzy of Nazi rallies, the emotional whipping up of support and passion, that's all down to Goebbels. And without that, you don't have this mass buy-in and this mass participation.
I think Goebbels is sometimes oversold as a master propagandist, and I'll tell you why. This is a dictatorship. How hard can it be to get your message across when you own the radio and indeed the newspapers? It's not that difficult.
I've seen how Goebbels used his propaganda tools to manipulate the German people, rousing the nation into war. But Goebbels continued to blanket them with Nazi lies long after he knew that war was lost, and millions would continue to suffer and die.
You get a sense, certainly with other Nazi figures, who are very much aware that what they're doing is bad. There's always that doubt there. But with Goebbels, there never appears to be any doubt. It makes him very chilling.
Yeah, pure devotion. He's doing it, that's wrong. He's doing it anyway. Goebbels really was devoted to the cause. But to prove his loyalty to Hitler and the Nazi regime, Goebbels not only kills himself, but kills all of his children. What does that say about him?
I think that does prove exceptional evil. From the perspective of a father, you know, to murder your 6 children requires devotion that becomes evil in itself.
I would see it as a genuine sense that there was no point having his children alive in a world without Nazism, without Hitler as a savior.
It's hard to imagine a more severe version of fanaticism. It's this level of commitment to the Nazi cause that makes him one of the most dangerous of all Hitler's followers. a true believer to the very end.
So what I'd like to do now is discuss where the three of you think that Goebbels would rank in the Nazi hierarchy of evil. So Anthony, what are your thoughts first?
The Nazi crimes weren't random, they were systematic. And as Minister of Propaganda, as the choreographer of Nazi pageantry, and as a fanatical anti-Semite, Goebbels was central to that system. Because of that, he's number 3.
Guy?
Yeah, I might take exception to you a little bit. The point is, the Nazis controlled the media. How hard is it to get your message across when you do so? That makes me want to go lower than you, but reluctantly, I'm going to go for a 3 as well.
He certainly was the master of ceremonies. He was central. This couldn't have happened without him. But I'm curious about whether he would have been able to hold the knife himself. I'm going to rate him a little lower, 4 or 5.
I'm going to disagree with you, Matt, because I think he did get his hands bloody. He did murder his own children for the cause, and his children became victims of Nazism. Also, his role as the Minister of Propaganda, I understand where you're coming from completely, Guy, but I just feel that that message being sent out and how virulently violent it was, I think that played such an important role in the crimes of the Nazi regime. So I'm going to have to say he ranks number 3, and that is the Ace of Diamonds.
Minister of Propaganda Joseph Goebbels orchestrated the brainwashing of Germany to pave the way for the Holocaust and the Second World War. For that and the murder of his 6 children, he ranks 3rd in Hitler's hierarchy of evil.